everyone, and welcome to the Scratticus Academy. We are back with some more Eberron today. So before we head round and say hello to all of these lovely faces you see around the table here, I am going to shout about a few things. First of all, please check out the content warning and also the links coming up in chat now. That includes the Discord. We do have a room just for the Shards of Siberys, so if you'd like to go and check it out, you can head over there. Also, if you've missed out on anything, you can head over to our YouTube and check out all of the shows, not just this one. We've put them all into playlists so that you can go and find them easily. Also, if you would like to get into a game, like a viewer game, like this one, go over to Twitter and drop Scrat a DM and we will get you in a game. Also, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors who we could not do this without in the form of Maychan Press. You may have just seen their Fae Folio just before this game. That is also one of the viewer games if you want to come and try it out. And they also now have their Dark Matter in hardback, which is basically D&D and space smushed together, which is a wonderful thing that everyone needs in their life. So please go check that out as well. Also, we have the Deck of Many with the Deck of Many Things and the Moving Magic spell cards, including their Kickstarter, which they've already, I'm pretty sure, smashed all of their goals on that. They've got more spells levels 6 to 9 for the moving cards, but also my favorite, because I want to use them in game. They now have moving tarot cards, which you can go check out. They are also the sponsor of our Humblewood campaign. If you want to try and get, if you want to come and play that through and give that a go, that is on Thursdays, so you can drop Scrat a DM. Also, Hero Forge, another Kickstarter that was completely smashed through. We now have a show where Scrat and I, on a Wednesday, 2 p.m. EDT, drink a lot of coffee and design minis and paint them with the new beta. And they released the Hyena Wolf creature today, which was really awesome. So go check that out. And last but certainly not least, also Dungeon Fog, for whether it's a one-shot or a campaign. It helps you make the maps you need for it, and also your notes to go alongside it. If you update something on the map, it also updates it automatically in the notes as well. So let's go around and say hello to all of these lovely people here. Let's start with J. Lawrence Kenny. Oh, hi.
Hello. Glad to be back. My name is Jonathan Kenny, stage name J. Lawrence Kenny. I will be playing Lyra and Wright today. As far as my own personal things, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, all kinds of things at J. Lawrence Kenny.
Fantastic. Thank you. And then we're going to head over. I don't know how to pronounce your handle, but I also want to say your character name because it's the best character name. Gaston. I just want to say that. But hello.
Hey, I'm Lance Parrish. I'll be playing Gaston Forest Gleam today. You can find me on Twitter at LTALIG. It even befuddles me sometimes. That's at LTALIG.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then we are going to head over and say hello to the lovely Faye. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I'm Faye. I'm going to be playing Cinnamon Eilef, the very lovable 16-year-old elf rogue. And since I've been told that she is not allowed to drink during this game, I will be drinking my very own wine because I am of age. And you can find me on Twitter at Captain Fake Eye.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm White Rabbit Pick. That's where you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am one of the founders of the Academy, where we love to teach people TTRPGs because more people should be playing them because they are a wonderful thing. I'm also a DM over on Tales from the Grim for Aether's Walkway, and also over on Gilding Light for their campaign Zyara. Otherwise, oh, hang on, Hans is here. It's reminded me. I also have a photography Patreon. So please, everyone's like, yay, she remembered. So please go and check that out as well. Otherwise, I will hand over to the very lovely Hans. Oh, hi.
Hello. Yes, I was preparing to do a Patreon announcement, but I guess I don't have to now. So we're going to play some D&D. Everybody already introduced themselves. This is weird. I'm going to take a couple seconds and think about, did I have anything I need to do? Scrat, can you get somebody in chat to roll a d4 for me? That would be helpful. I need that in a second. And then everything else is like what we did last week, but different. So we're going to talk about what happened last time. This is usually something I would write in, but I'm not as prepared as I will be in the future. So last time, we had an extended series of adventures that ended in the city of Rote, which is in Breland. And we had Cinnamon and Basalt, who have been our two recurring characters. They got onto a shiny ponyta, which is technically what kind of horse? Is it a Valinar?
It's a Valinar horse. They're
It's a
blue
Valinar
and shiny.
horse. Very shiny ponyta horse. And with all that going on, Cinnamon is on a Valinar steed as it crosses the barrier between planes with, in my mind, it's kind of an ethereal tinkling noise. Maybe just like a little bit of that like old style Star Trek little sequins on a black velvet curtain moving back and forth shimmer. And Cinnamon, you find yourself in a very different place. It is, what's the best way to describe it? I had this up on a second here and it's moved on me. You're standing on a piece of rock. This is definitely land, earth, what have you. But other pieces of rock are also floating out in the distance. They don't line up. There's no way that they meet. You can see those little jagged stalagmite type ends coming off of some of them as they float around. The sky is a swirl, a mixture, like a very haphazard finger painting of blues and oranges and yellows, just thrown out there and constantly in motion. So it's really kind of like watching oil on the surface of water. It has that iridescent shine. With all of this going on in the background, it would be easy to miss anything except the person in front of you. They are about 7 feet tall. They have a wide, sweeping set of horns. And they're wearing a long, elaborate black robe embroidered with gold, with a white shirt, a red cravat. They look tall, powerful, self-possessed, and their hands are glowing with magic. That magic is being directed towards some sort of sphere. It looks like a globe. It's about 10 feet across. And it's being very gently contained by these tiny little, almost like wire-like pieces of gold, these tendrils of gold that kind of surround it like a mesh. And he seems very focused on directing and pushing this energy towards this sphere. And everything seems to be going really well, although unusual. And that's when you need to make your dexterity saving throw.
Oh no. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Good thing I'm good at those.
Mm-hmm.
22.
That's real strong. The flying piece of rock that passes by your head, you hear it whistling just a second before it would have knocked you off of your steed. How does Cinnamon avoid it?
She does a matrix like dodge where she just like goes back, and I can't go backwards because I have a chair back, but
That's fair.
very much just on the back of her steed, completely flat, and it flies right over her face.
So you avoided being hit by that piece of rock, and looking up, you realize that you're not the only person here in this strange ethereal space. We're going to talk about Ernie now. So a real quick refresher, let's talk about what Cinnamon looks like so that when we talk about Ernie, we've got some context.
So Cinnamon is a 16-year-old elf. She is short, probably about 4'11", very slight, looks probably younger than 16, and has brown hair, fair skin, and is dressed for travel, but dressed very, very well. She is still wearing, I believe, the glamour weave cloak and clothing all around in green.
So Ernie is going to be falling from above. not so far as to be injured, but far enough that we're going to get a good billowing effect to any cloaks and personal effects. So feel free to describe with great aplomb the way the wind whips and flaps at Ernie's garments. What's Ernie going to do about this?
About falling?
Falling, mostly.
Falling
Also,
with style.
Falling with
feel.
style, I would hope.
Yeah. I think that, well, that's what she would like to do, whether or
Mhm.
not she's going to be able to. But Ernie is a halfling. She's around 4 foot tall. She's quite small, quite petite, and she has a very, very small, round face. And there is certainly a lot of billowing going on. She does have very slim, sort of black trousers, boots that go all the way up to her knee that are very very dark, very heavy, but she has a very over the top sort of white shirt, lots of ruffles, lots of frills and things like that. But what's really billowing is this huge coat that she wears, which is almost patchwork of color, mainly blues and greens and almost sort of coppery sort of tint of thread running through. And over the shoulders are these raven's feathers that sort of adorn around the collar and around the cuffs. And I think in a very Ghibli style, how that hamster clings on. She has an albino rat, bright red eyes, which is currently sort of gripping onto her as she tumbles through this space.
So Ernie lands gracefully? Question mark?
She'll try.
That sounds like you're saying you'd like to make a dexterity saving throw.
I mean, I could. Why not? I'm supposed to be good at it, but
Yep.
I feel
Let's test
whatever
that
this
theory.
is took her by surprise. My God, I have a +7. This is
It's not bad.
good.
It's not
No.
bad. No. I mean, maybe not with as much aplomb as you would like. There's no applause whatsoever for some reason.
Yeah, she's feeling it. I think she sort of lands for a moment, lands perfectly, and then realizes her legs are a bit shaky from the fall and just falls back as this rat at the same time sort of tumbles off of her and rolls onto the edge of her coat, clinging again.
Your albino rat has a name, correct?
Yes, he is Chonker. The
Chonker.
rat.
I just want to know which direction you ended up going with that. Okay, great.
Yeah, I chose the latter name in the end.
So as Chonker like tumbles down into your lap, this very large, very blue, sparkly horse leans its snout in and gives him a big.
She snatches Chonker up and goes, "Hey!" and pushes like the nose away out of concern. Sort of, you can hear the string sort of on her lute that's currently strapped to her back, and she says, "Just, it's rude to sniff without permission." As she sort of clings to this massive white rat.
And it being such a large horse, you end up pushing yourself away more than you end up pushing the horse away. So, I'll give you 2 minutes, Cinnamon and Ernie.
Cinnamon, of course, introduces herself the typical way. Hi, my name's Cinnamon. Nice to meet you. This is a very strange place. Do you live here?
She pulls the rat close towards her, tries to maneuver around the horse a little bit to give you her hand as she stands up. She's like, no, don't live here. Don't know what's going on. Nice to meet you. I'm Ernie. Also, could you please tell your horse to stay away from my rat?
Well, it's not really my horse. I think I was loaned this horse. But I'll try.
Did you steal it?
No, it was loaned to me.
Okay.
And I'll dismount so that I can be more eye level with Ernie and not this whole like.
There's like a big gap right now. And I think Ernie looks up around at this. I want to say sky, but it's just a space. Did you bring me here?
I don't think so, but there's been a lot of strange things that have happened in this last few days. So maybe I joined a cult. And so maybe the cult brought you here.
and it just sort of pauses for a moment, straightens up, literally ruffles her feathers a little bit, and puts Chonka on her shoulder as he sort of watches you from there. It's like, when you say you joined a cult, how old are you?
Why is that everybody's question?
Well, it's not something, I mean, you look about 12, and I didn't expect a 12-year-old to be running around with cults.
I'm 21.
Insight check.
I'll roll a deception.
I don't really have to do anything here. It's great.
Oh, every time.
Oh!
2 weeks in a row, Faye. 2 weeks in a row.
Yes! Oh, God.
This is the
That's
exact
not
scenario from last week. We had 2 natural 20s, deception versus
my
insight
gosh.
last week too. Oh no, last week was performance versus performance, but still.
Yeah, like she leans real close to you. She's like, nah, you're not 21. Sort of looking up at you, and this
I feel
rat is
like-
doing the same.
I feel like you think that I think that I'm 21.
Yeah, she's sort of convinced that you may be misled and sort of like, okay. Sort of makes a note.
So, Loren, you've walked forward from a previous space that you expected just being a normal walk around town. It was darker than average, and you find yourself now in this unusual landscape, which you may have a better idea of what it is than some might. But you've opened onto the scene of this person doing very intricate magic in the background, and these 2 people arguing about the age of an elf in the foreground. Do you want to describe Loren for us? And am I saying it the way you're saying it?
Loren's fine, yeah. I hadn't decided exactly how to pronounce it. I just
Okay.
spelled it, so Loren is fine. Loren is a human with platinum blonde hair with an undercut. A little older than the other 2 there, I think. Unless the halfling is older, but like early 30s. He has a leather armor with a cape, rapier at his side, and a bandolier of wands strapped across his chest. And if you were to look close enough, you could see on his shoulder is very prominently placed his mark of making of House Cannith. You can see all this and just kind of look back where he came from, very confused. And then, did I stumble through a manifest zone? This is not where I was expecting to go. Pardon me.
You sort of look over and go, you're not 21. As I'm sort of like pointing up to it. It's like, who are you? People just popping up everywhere over here.
Oh, a new friend. Hi, my name's Cinnamon. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Do you know
I'm
how we
sorry.
got here?
I was going to ask you the same question. I think I made a wrong turn, but I don't see the turn where I came from anymore.
And Ernie looks around, offers her hand as well, but she's kind of looking around still at the same time. She's like, Ernie. Sort of looking. Is it? Okay, when you said you took a wrong turn, what did you do last?
I was just walking through a city and literally just turned a corner, and now I'm in some kind of, I assume, a manifest zone, but I'm not sure. Who's that? Gesture at the person doing the arcane weaving.
You know, that's a good question. As Ernie looks past the horse to see because she couldn't see before.
I think this is the best time to introduce one more character. So as you turn to look around the horse, I like to imagine that, like the end of a long night out on the town for Gaston, the hardest part is getting down into the below decks of the ship, maybe climbing down a ladder. And taking one rung too far as your foot kind of slips off of that rung, and you feel yourself gently falling back into this haphazard riotous landscape where you can just come down so gently, just bump right on your butt, so that Gaston's back is to everyone else. He's looking at this tiefling who is again waving his hands and creating this arcane structure. And behind you, there's a halfling looking behind a horse. The horse is shiny and blue as well, I think.
Hello?
Oh, are there more people?
Apparently so. She sort of looks around and says, excuse me.
It's a right party, isn't it?
Well, where am I?
Hi, I'm Cinnamon. Nice to meet you.
Ah, yes. Nice to meet you as well in this fairy tale land.
Well, you haven't quite figured out where we are yet, but I have a feeling he's got something to do with it.
And she points over to the one waving his hands about.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if he's what exactly he's doing, if I can discern?
Yeah, let's go for it. So he's got something very elaborate going on. That's some sort of magical ritual. It's not a style of ritual you've studied before, but it does seem to you like it is probably of a much higher level than something you'd be able to cast at this point. The other thing is that now that you have all made enough noise, this person turns, and as they're doing things with one hand, they turn with the other hand. Everyone, please mime being in a zone of silence for a few seconds, because you are now all silenced. They wave their hand again. No, that's actually more distracting.
Excuse me.
Well,
I will be finished in about 35 minutes.
35 minutes?
Excuse me. I'm assuming you brought us here. I'd like an explanation if I'm going to wait 35 minutes, because that's 35 minutes of my life you're taking right now.
It's only 34 minutes now.
Like, Annie looks like, saying, who is this?
What's happening?
Could you at least give us your name?
Yes, my name's Cinnamon. It's nice to meet you.
Not you, dear.
They've still got one hand out. Their body is turned like side on towards you, and as they're doing this, their eyes are focused entirely on the sphere. And they say, "No, I don't believe I will. You may call me the Fabricator."
Do you make clothes?
And if there's no reply, like Ernie or how high up is this orb? I don't want to grab it. I want to stand in between him and it.
You could do that. It's almost at ground level. It's 10 feet tall, so it's just gently off the ground.
It's 10 feet tall. Jeez. I stand there and say, "Excuse me, excuse me."
Do you see all this magical energy that I've collected?
I do.
Do you think it's wise to disrupt that much magical energy?
No, but it's not wise to do, well, whatever this is, so I would really appreciate an explanation.
In 33 minutes, you'll have my full and undivided attention.
33?
She sort of just...
Can we get like a general sense of what you're doing? Cinnamon's gonna walk over and like kind of stand next to Ernie, and now there's just like a row of people standing in front of him.
I am so very baffled. I see what happened last night. I fell on the way down the ladder, and I died. Split my head open, I think.
Okay, I'm not dead.
Me neither. I rode this very shiny horse, and the shiny horse brought me here.
What? I'm gonna tap out here. I don't know what's going on. I'm fully okay with that.
Sir, Madam Being, why are you collecting this energy?
Really, this is quite taxing, you understand. And speaking with you all, if I make a mistake, well, we'll all be obliterated for certain.
Oh, comforting.
That's the exact opposite of comforting. And in fact, I would like very much to know what you're doing before that 30 minutes is up, in case it's going to obliterate us anyway.
What he
I would
said.
very much like to know.
The chance of it obliterating you anyways is much lower.
Question. If that thing is supposedly going to obliterate us, if we keep nattering and everything, maybe you shouldn't be touching it?
I confess, I think it's actually perfectly safe, but I find you all very distracting.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna look around. Are there any other features in this area other than him?
One might say there are too many features in this area, because every time your eye lights on something like a piece of rock floating by or a particular swirl of orange, it seems like it just kind of like goes away and there's something else instead. You see a small monastery floating by in the distance on a distant piece of rock. A large red person who looks kind of like a toad floats by on another one.
I've got to say, this is more interesting than anything I've seen at Arcanix.
What? Just what? Just what? What is going on?
I have no idea.
Am
I assure you, you're still alive, though, my friend.
You say that. Don't believe it.
Do you think that your imagination can come up with something this...
I mean, as drowned in the drink as I was, my imagination is truly flying me places.
Good on you, then.
So this person now at this point makes kind of like a sigh, and they take something from their waist, they throw it up in the air. There's like a sparkly shimmer of red, and with both hands they just kind of go like this, and they're no longer glowing hand-wise, and they stop and they turn towards you. Their hands go all the way down to their sides, so they just look like they're like this. Very stiff, very upright. Fine. I've closed things down early. I will return to my work later. How did the four of you find yourselves here, and how can I convince you to leave?
What makes you think we wanted to be here?
No convincing needed. Point the door and I'm off.
I'd very much like to get on my shiny horse and get out of here. I don't even know how I got here.
None of you had any intention of being here.
No.
I mean, that depends on where here is.
Have none of you the slightest understanding of our planar system?
I do.
No.
Would you like to hazard a guess? And if you are successful, I will indulge you in some small way.
Could I make another Arcana check?
Sure can.
See which of the planes I am on.
I feel like that's pretty good. This is probably the plane they describe as Kithri, the churning chaos.
Well, considering there is absolutely no order to this place whatsoever, I'd have to hazard a guess at Kithri.
Honestly, I don't see how it could be anywhere else. Good work. Good work.
Thank you.
And he waves his hand at you. So for Loren, why don't you go ahead and increase one of his stats by 2 for the remainder of the adventure?
I know exactly which one I'm going to increase by 2.
Yay, let's just have fun and break things.
just max out my intelligence score, why don't you?
There we go. Okay, so with that he says, yes, well, enjoy. Now, if none of you intended to be here, I suppose I know exactly why you're here. I need you to retrieve something for me. It is of the utmost importance. Have any of you heard of a dragon shard of Siberys before?
I have.
Heard of dragon shards?
Like puts her arm up, but that's a bet.
Not anything specific.
Yes, at some point there was someone who was running around trying to steal one, but yes.
No idea.
At least 3 of you. That's more than I expected, frankly. Much more. Well, if that is the case, I need you to go and retrieve one for me.
I'm assuming it's somewhere here on this plane?
No, of course not. If it was here, I would just go and get it myself. But I'm loath to leave this very large magical construct unattended.
Yes, I can imagine you might never find it again in a place like this.
Sorry. Why do you need us to get this?
He motions at the very large sphere once again.
Yeah, she's barely looking. She's like,
So, yeah, but what does the purpose do? What's gonna happen when it reaches 30 minutes?
I will move on to the next phase of the construction of this important magical item.
You realize how ominous this sounds?
Yes, I think I do.
We help you? Can you help me unjoin this cult?
Okay, this is the only time this being has moved with speed this entire time. And, again, totally upright like this, just kind of like scuttles forward like Squidward, so that he is right up against you, grabs your hand with both hands, and he is 7 feet tall, so he is lifting your hand up to his face like this.
I just say, hey! It's like...
Curious indeed.
Have you seen this before?
Yes. Was it done willingly?
Define willingly.
Did you purposely obtain this mark?
Yes and no.
Very well. I will perform this errand with just the 3 of you. Let me just dispose of this one. And his finger starts glowing white, and he's about to touch you on the forehead.
I go whack him with my loot around the back of the head. She panics. It's not like a hard thing.
Do you want to make a roll for that, just for fun?
I don't know what to roll.
It sounds like an attack to me.
Oh gosh.
Okay, she's doing it not to like hurt. She's doing it. Nat 20.
Oh my gosh.
She's like,
his
don't
finger
touch
stops
it now.
glowing. His finger is no longer glowing, and he turns and looks at you. Excuse me.
Excuse you.
She looks up at him, realizing.
Do you know what fell power this one serves?
No, but you can't go around just vermouthing people like that. How would you like it? And don't point it's rude.
She's still brandishing her lyre.
Cinnamon has very quickly put her hand in her pocket.
Sorry, I have to respond to something quickly.
She's sort of shuffling towards Cinnamon, like,
you okay?
I think so. I don't really understand what this is yet.
No, but maybe we should get you some gloves, or just stop showing and yelling about cults to people, because that could happen again.
I figured most people don't seem to like this very much. I guess I'll keep it on the down low.
Do you serve this power that you have emblazoned upon your hand?
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to get rid of it.
Really? If that be the case, then I suppose you can help me with my errand for now. And maybe I can help you with your errand.
What's my errand?
Did you want that removed?
Yes.
The fastest way would be to remove your hand.
No.
Raise the loot back up.
Cinnamon's hand goes right back into her pocket.
Well, if we're going to do it the longer way, then I feel like it's only fair you help me retrieve this shard.
Okay.
Very good. The 4 of you will need to travel to the shores of Zalargo. and obtain passage on a vessel. Sail across the Straits of Shargon and find the shard there, beneath the waves.
Interesting.
Like underwater, kind of beneath.
Of course.
Right.
Well, I hope you all like Sahagin. All right. Well, in order to do that, we need to get out of here first. Can you secure us passage to Zilago?
I will do so immediately.
With my horse,
Which horse is that?
the blue shiny one.
The blue shiny horse is off on a different rock, nibbling on some purple grass.
I don't think your horse is going to be very helpful underwater, Cinnamon.
I guess not. They can stay here. It was just a lone horse, and I felt like I needed to return them.
Right. I'm so lost. Truly.
Me too. I almost lost a hand.
What?
Lost your life.
That too.
So we got to go to this place to go underwater to find the thing that you want, to bring it back, to sort out her hand.
Exactly.
Okay, now I got this.
In that case, he turns to the side and puts both hands out like this and just boom, no fanfare, just like there's a big gold door there. And it's an actual physical door. It's not one of those like shiny portals into nothing. There's just a big door there. This will be the first step upon your journey.
I must quit drinking.
If you wish to knock, you can knock.
And he sort of straightens up, pulls the coat down, moves Chonka to the other side, and knocks on the door.
Please imagine the big anime door that connects to nothing. And it has a very elaborate, like gothic embroidered gold frame all around it. And you knock and it just goes ting, ting, ting. And the doors go. And you just see nothing.
You sure this isn't to a door to Mambar, not Zilago?
I know one way you can find out.
Twist my arm, why don't you? I'll just stride forward through the door.
Does everybody want to make a perception check real quick as you go through at the end? This is not for what's in the door. This is for fun, additional story stuff.
Oh my.
Oh gosh.
Oh, look at y'all.
You say that, don't
Ooh.
I still got a nat 20 on the other side. What's happening?
I don't want to roll. I'm going to roll so
RNG's
poorly.
against us today. Don't worry, we'll make up for it later.
I couldn't find my perception button.
It's okay. Do you have it now?
Yes.
Okay. So Loren and Cinnamon in the background, as you all finish passing through this, you're sure you hear in the distance this person going, yes, good. Finally, my wishes will be achieved. And the door goes right behind you.
I'm sure he has wanted this for a very long time and is just happy that we're getting this for him.
Cinnamon, how badly do you want that cult symbol gone?
I mean, I don't know what it does, but people seem to be really worked up about it. So I guess pretty badly. And they keep telling me that at 16 you shouldn't be joining cults.
They're right.
I thought you were
Ah,
21.
I knew it! You weren't 21! I sort of points towards you.
I mean 21.
I'm just saying I've met a lot of evil people in my time. And he's definitely top 5 with how he was acting. Just saying we should be careful, that's all.
So the effect here is it was dark. And now it's like it gradually becomes light. And instead of it being daybreak, you find yourselves just standing in a port. You're right on the docks where there's a bustling mass of people in the background. Has anybody ever been to Zalargo? Did anybody pick that as being like a character thing or anything like that? Okay. So you're in a city and you're on the shore. So that part looks fairly good. If anybody wants to roll maybe a history check, especially if you're a bard and you're really good at stuff like that.
You say that. I have one.
What if you were a sailor?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could even just say you've been there if you want. This is a port.
Loren does know
True.
Okay. So I would say Cinnamon, it looks foreign to you and probably like Zalargo.
Yes.
Ernie, you're pretty sure this is probably Zalargo.
Yes, it's Shargon.
Yep. Loren is positive it's Zalargo. He's seen several signs here that look like they are signs from Zalargo, saying like Port of Zalargo and so forth. And I think Gaston's really riding on his sailor's intuition, and it smells like the air coming off the southern coast of Corvair. So this is probably Zalargo.
No, this is familiar. This is familiar. Yes. Zalargian air. Been here before.
I think the actual port I'm looking for is called Thurabar. Let's see if I got that right. Looking like a map in hand, so you gotta give me just a second here. Yep, we are off the coast of... I guess I was actually thinking of Trollenport. Trollenport is the actual city I was thinking of. So you're in the city of Trollenport in Zalargo. And this you learn fairly quickly.
Well, first order of business, I suppose we need to procure a vessel.
An area I may be able to help in, actually. Let me seek out a ship.
I trust you, you know what kind of sailor types to look for and which types to avoid.
Of course. This is not my first time on a ship. And it shan't be the last. Oh, it is? Well, we'll see how well your stomach holds up then. Usually rough the first time.
That's right. Okay, so we are on the docks in Trollenport. Again, it's loud. It's early in the morning as far as you can tell from the position of the sun. You can smell that strong salt air. People are moving about with purpose, but there is also, you notice, a lot of paperwork. Every person you see who's staying in the docks, they're exchanging large reams, like handfuls of paperwork with the other port officials. There seems to be quite a process that's going on as people try to move from one thing to another. Gaston, you being a gnome, I will just point out to you there are several gnomes here on the docks. There are several gnomes here on the docks. It does seem like a lot of these Zalargan sailors are gnomes, so that works out quite well.
My people.
Mm-hmm. And as we're talking and seeing things, I think everybody is aware of one particularly boisterous conversation. There's three people that are standing near one of the docks. They're totally paperless. They have no paperwork whatsoever, talking to an official who seems very by the book. They're very upset about the fact that there's nothing that they're presenting whatsoever. The woman who is the head of this expedition, or this group as far as you can tell, she's wearing a very tight head wrap, around her head to the back here. She has kind of short, little bit curly black hair that's turning gray on the edges. She's got a little bit of a protuberous nose, and she's wearing glasses that are right there at the edge of it, like a pince nez. And she has two boys with her who are just a little bit bigger, but they're very young in the face. They've got very chubby, boy fat type cheeks. And they're both kind of sticking their chests out and trying to add some physical weight to this conversation. But between the three of them, they are about as tall as the other deck official, the dock official, let's say, the quartermaster, harbor master. There we go, harbor master. And that person is a human who is very broad, wearing a vest over like a white shirt, and they've got a simple, like a sailor's cap on, just like a knitted cap. They're saying, look, you haven't submitted any of the paperwork. There's supposed to be papers for leaving the dock, papers for the ship, tax papers, papers for things you're exporting, papers for things you plan to import, and you're supposed to have a sailing plan. If you don't have any of those things, I can't let you report. And the woman says, none of those things apply to what we're doing. We're going one place, we're going in the water, we're not even going into a shipping lane, and our boat does not sail on top of the water, it goes under the water. So really, none of this applies, does it? And one of the boys goes, yeah. The other one does not, but just kind of stares intently.
I think Ernie turns back to the others. He's like,
So, I see we have 3 options here. We either steal a boat, we sneak on a boat, or if anyone's good at forging papers, I guess that's still stealing a boat, but like with cause.
I can just ask people.
I'm good at stealing.
See if there's anyone I know.
I mean, this group here seems very auspicious for our needs.
Yeah, but they don't have the papers.
Well, that just means we need to be a little sneaky, but I don't think we can leave by ourselves. These kind of ships usually require a few hands.
Okay. I am re-evaluating everything.
So the 3 gnomes continue arguing boisterously, producing no paperwork whatsoever. The harbor master basically just has his hands on his hips and is just like shaking his head, nope, 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 over and over again like this.
Is anyone carrying any parchment on them or a pen?
Starts digging into her pockets. It's really crumpled up, and you can see like there's some writing on it, which looks like, you know, like either poetry or stories. That one, hang on. Starts pulling stuff out and hands it to you.
Great. Does anyone know how to write?
Okay, fine. Give it here. Give it here.
And she takes it back and turn around, and she puts it on your back and starts writing.
Should we really be engaging in criminal activity?
If we can forge
Ernie
some
laughs.
release papers, we can get them in our debt somehow.
Okay, well.
I say, after our halfling friend pretends that these are the papers, we go up and rescue our 3 friends over there and get on their underwater boat thing.
There's nothing legal about that.
Yes, I'm completely sure this will go off without a hitch.
Absolutely. How can it not?
Ernie's scrawling on the back. You see her sort of go through, open up a couple of things, and she's like, what stamp do we use? Like, they look like they've been stolen from somewhere.
Oh, no.
Probably hasn't got one for here because she's never been here before, but she's looking for something.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, wait. Isn't Lauren a Kenneth?
Yes.
Yeah, is it?
You got a family seal?
I think so. Think about that. I have the mark, but I'm not actually officially part of the house. It's a long, convoluted story, but the short version of it is I'm an orphan.
How many people know that? That you're not part of the house?
I mean, no one. I think I could definitely. And he points at the mark, which is clearly like visible through his armor. Is like that's the mark. If that'll help you.
Right. Okay. We got this.
And she finishes up on the papers after writing back to it. She's like,
Follow my lead, sire.
and starts walking over towards the gnomes and this mast. And it's cool.
Astald's gonna stay in the back.
It's gonna go great. Okay,
Out of
so
sight.
we've got a harbor master who is sitting here. Nope, nope, nope. None of that's the right paperwork. You can't go anywhere with that. None of that's gonna work. You don't even have paperwork. And with that,
And he runs towards him. He's like,
excuse me, you dropped your paperwork.
And runs up over to the harbour master. It's like,
Sorry, it's here. And I'm sure you'll see it's all checked over perfectly fine and supported and funded by House Kenneth.
and then like just pulls.
Official house
Lauren.
business, yes.
So while that's all being said, one of the two boys, the one who did not say yeah earlier, he says, well, we don't have it. And what's going to happen at this point? Who's going to take lead on this?
Cinnamon, go!
Cinnamon runs up, jumps on his back, and just puts her hand over his mouth and says, Thomas, it's great to see you!
Well, that's a choice. Let me make a strength saving throw here. Perfect. Okay, so you jump on the back of this gnome, you crush him to the ground, you almost headbutt his brother as one of them falls into the other one, and their mother is basically like stuck beneath the two of them like a tent at this point. So that's happening in the background.
My friend is very
my.
enthusiastic.
Hi, I'm Cinnamon.
Okay.
You hear a very muffled. Yeah, you hear very muffled. My name's not Thomas.
And she puts her second hand on the mouth.
But she holds
So-
the papers up and is pulling Lauren towards her.
Oh yeah, I'm there next to her. And like,
She's really trying to get you to stand slightly to the side to see the dragon mark.
It's like it's a good thing it's not on your back or something.
Yeah,
like that. That's good.
I'd be like, jack it off.
no, he actually has like a full cut in the leather armor to showcase the mark.
That's a smart way to do it. Okay, what's the move here? What is this roll you're making?
Can it be a performance? Like, yeah?
Yeah, that's a performance.
I can
Okay.
assist. I have proficiency in performance.
Okay, let's do an advantaged performance check.
Oh no.
To be fair, that was what that roll deserved. So the harbor master looks at it and goes, none of this is the right paperwork.
Excuse me, I think you'll find it is.
No. Half of these, look at this. That's not even a word.
And I sort of, one, rude. Two, she walks over to him quite quietly and sort of takes him aside. And is very much, look, you don't understand. This is House Kenneth. And I want to use words of terror as I'm
Yes.
shadow knowledge. And I was like,
This is House Kenneth. And as you can see, she sort of looks over. It's a bit rough around the edges, and he fights quite a lot. So you might not want to, he's been planning this for a long time. And well, put it this way. It's easy to replace a harbor master.
So while I'm looking up words of terror, chat, I have a question for everybody who's watching this. Is it scarier with Alice's voice she's doing right now? I feel like it's scarier, personally.
I'm just playing me. It's fine.
That's kind of what I was going for here. Yeah.
If you speak to a humanoid alone for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to see paranoia. So you'd have to do a wisdom save of 14. You are scared for an hour.
The harbor master starts shedding papers, and like they're just kind of like falling out of his hands at this point. He just goes, "Look, just go. Nobody's gonna stop you. Nobody's gonna stop you. Just go. Just go."
I'm going to give you a word of advice.
So she sort of takes the paper out of the hand. Is that
I'd move away from here pretty quick because look at that vein on the side of his head. It's throbbing.
The harbor master dashes past you, kind of shoves Ernie to the side, and jumps into the harbor.
she's got a very serious face on, but when she turns around, it's a big smile. She's like, "We got a boat."
As soon as you do that, Cinnamon just gets off of the gnome and is like, sorry, hi, I'm Cinnamon. Nice to meet you. Can we come on your boat?
What is happening?
Forget stop.
So you've got the one whose nose is now hurt, like this, and he's standing here like this. And then you've got the other one who's like almost hit foreheads with you and not quite, but still rubbing his head despite the fact that he didn't actually hit heads with you. And then you've got the mom, and she has mom hands on her mom hips, and she says to you, "What was all that about? We didn't have any paperwork."
Well, now you do, and you can leave harbor.
I was winning a battle of reason over these unjust and silly laws that don't apply to watercraft that go under the water.
Well, if it helps, he ran away and he's...
And she sort of like looks over. Is he like poking his head up to look in the harbour, or just gives him a look, like a glare?
Can I make a history check to see what I know of the trust in Zalargo?
Sure.
Listen, I don't know if you know about the politics of Zalargo, but they have a tendency of making troublesome people disappear. So if you'd kept on going with what you were doing, you would have disappeared. So we really did you a very good favor by helping you get out of here.
Listen, I understand that you're not supposed to make the harbor master do that, but I have a very important mission. I'm here trying to save my sister. We have to get our boat into the harbor right now, and we have to sail directly towards the Straits. It's very important.
Pushes papers in their direction.
Well, there's no harbor master to stop you now. So, if you would be so gracious as to allow us to accompany you to make sure that there's no more trouble on the way out.
So this is where we get the eye of this captain as they look at Ernie. Gaston, what do you think? Is Gaston about as tall as Ernie?
Ooh, shorter than Ernie.
Ernie, Gaston, Cinnamon, and then where's Laren on this?
Laren's about like 5'10", 5'9".
That's only like 7 inches taller than Cinnamon, right?
Yeah.
I forgot if Cinnamon is as short as I think she is.
She's 4'11", yes. So he's about a foot taller.
Yeah.
Right. So her gaze ends on Laren and says, "You want to get on my gnomish submarine?"
I'm very svelte. I can squeeze into any place that you need me to. And he takes out one of his many wands and just kind of twirls it in his hands, like, very useful in a fight if anything comes to that.
Okay, I just have to start setting some of the barometrics, and I've got one more crew member I'm waiting for, but if you want to get onto the boat or take a look around, feel free to do that now. It's right over there. It's the one that goes under the water. She motions and kind of points at this big bronze. It looks like it's not graceful. It looks kind of like if someone laid a milk bottle on its side. It's like an old-fashioned glass milk bottle made of bronze, and it just blump, it's just there. It's like this big stick of butter with a little bit of a like protuberance at the back of it. And there's like, what's the term? Like the thing where you do the thing. Hatch, thank you. There's a hatch at the top. And it's currently open, and there is nothing else fancy about it whatsoever.
We're all going to drown. And it's
Like,
No, and he's like, it's fantastic. She's
This
never
is the
seen one
most
before.
fun Cinnamon has ever had in her life. She runs immediately towards this. This
And-
is amazing!
An
She
innovative
jumps in.
vessel.
Awesome. Well, the good news is it's much lower down below the water. Like it goes below the water quite a ways. So you did have to climb quite a long ladder to get down to the bottom, and you're not actually hitting your head at all, Cinnamon, so that's nice. Yeah, it's kind of like round on the inside. It's a little bit roomy. When all 4 of you are in here, plus those 3 gnomes and whoever that 4th crew member is, it's going to be a little bit snug. But there's a couple of chambers to it. There's like a main chamber, and then there's a chamber in the back that has a door that's closed. And then there's like a little observation bubble at the front where there's these 2 big like circular windows where you can look out through the front of the boat like you're in the cool submarine ride at Disneyland.
If you see like a 5-year-old like near controls, Cinnamon has just like gone into every room, flipped every single switch that she could possibly flip.
The door in the back is locked. Are you going to try hard on that, or are you just going to let that go?
No, she's not. She's not like intending to try to break into anything, but she's just like looking at the window, flipping all the switches.
Okay.
So
All
Ernie's
right.
pressed against the window looking at anything that's in the water. She doesn't get to go underwater ever.
Loren is just stooped over.
Just
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't hit your head unless you suddenly like had something happen, like suddenly ended up in a fight and you were surprised. Otherwise, you'll be totally fine and nothing will happen to your head.
I'm sure that nothing bad will happen aboard this submarine.
Yes.
Nothing at all.
It's good stuff.
Old reliable. That's what we call vessels like this. Hold up longer than the prettier vessels.
So for Gaston, none of the controls on this ship are conventional. So you can get a rough idea of how it's supposed to turn the rudder, but looking at this, you have no idea what lunatic conceived the controls for this boat, because there is nothing here that would make sense for a sailor.
Interesting choices.
Mm-hmm. There's a round wheel, and then there are 12 like antennae that stick out from around it that seem to be controls that are going to somehow change the positioning of this ship.
Very, very strange choices. I suppose there are methods to madness. I will have to see it in action.
Yeah, over to your left, if you're at the helm, there's a whole series of like dials and gauges and so forth, and several of them have like a red line that's painted on them, but that's not the end of the gauge. Like the gauge goes lower than that red line.
There's so much here to take in. I just have to see how this all works.
So a couple minutes later, the first of the gnome sons, the one with the banged nose, comes down the ladder, all the way down, looks at Cinnamon, walks off back to do something, opens up that big hatch in the back with a key, walks back there, closes it. The other of the sons comes down, slowly, just like, kind of like a sloth coming down the ladder, and goes up to the front where Ernie is, and opens up a big sketch pad, and just plops it down in front of himself and just starts sketching like the flowing seaweed. And then a couple seconds later, a third gnome comes down. This one looks like a middle-aged man, and he's coming down very actively going down. He's got a loop or a coil of rope looped over his shoulder, and he tosses that down, puts it in the corner, puts down some instruments, and he takes off his crossbow and puts that down too. And he walks straight over to Gaston, puts his hand up. Thurston Drogue, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, Gaston Forestgleam.
Right. I think we're about ready to get underway here. The captain should be down in just a moment.
Wonderful.
If we're essentially just waiting, then Loren is just like stooped in a corner, and he has like a blank length of wood that he's whittling away at.
Okay. So there is a ominous like creak, and then a like something just popped off sound, and the captain comes down the ladder one-handed-ish, because in her other hand she's got some large metal protuberance, ends in like a little ball, and she comes down and hands it to Thurston and says, "It came off, we don't need it anyway, so it's fine," and pushes a button, and the hatch goes and closes itself, and you hear this as it's tightening down.
Oh, very interested to see you run this beauty.
Have you been on a submersible before?
No, it is a quite different experience for me, but I'm an experienced sailor, so...
It's much safer now.
Is it? Nice.
Everything is controlled just here, so you only need one person to really actively pilot the craft, so no matter how many of the crew are incapacitated, you should still be able to reach the surface.
Ingenious. I like it. I like it a lot.
Would you like a tour?
Oh, you flatter me, of course. I want to see all of the vessel.
She looks around at everybody else. Does anybody else want to see the ship?
I'd love a tour.
And he's just like, no, I'm good. Like, because she's just interested in the water, like pressed against the glass.
Loren is swiftly realizing that he is claustrophobic.
In this case, that may make sense, right?
I will stay with Loren then.
So he's just very, very focused on his wand making is he's just now starting to feel, after that went and we got locked in, he's like, oh, I'm stuck in here.
I think Ernie will wait till the others go to approach Loren, not thinking it might not want to draw attention to it.
The lady in question points at Thurston. Thurston nods his head and walks over to the wheel, and she starts walking over to the big hatch at the back. And she goes, wah, 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 and opens it up, comes towards her, and she says, I, by the way, am Lorilla Parvain. I don't think I said that earlier.
Oh, very nice to meet you, Lorilla.
You, especially, yes, nice to meet you too. Especially you, the tall one. You've all met my sons already. That's Brock. And she points at Brock, who is standing on the inside of the door, just looking at you all like this. And Alston is over in the window still with your friend. She walks into the back. Brock just does a side turn so that she can go past him, but does not move, so that you are all gonna pass within an inch of his nose.
Who was the one that I jumped on?
Yeah, that one.
You say an inch of his nose, it was probably his nose before you jumped on it.
It's all red now, poor boy. So she walks in the back. She says, all right, now here, this is the engine. So don't touch any of this, because if you do, you'll probably hurt yourself very badly.
See Cinnamon go, oh.
It reaches very high temperatures as well. So do be careful. If you do touch any of it, you will probably be injured.
Of course.
But if it stops during our voyage, we will also probably... It'll be fine. If you walk around it this way, so you've got to walk around the very dangerous engine. There's a very narrow walkway. Yes, like that. Yeah, you have to sidle past. If you walk back here, and there's another door there, and then she says, now this door here, if this door is open, everything's fine. And she pushes on the door and it opens into the next room. If it was closed, everything would not be fine. Because if you opened that door while it was closed, and there was any pressure at all, you would be in the ocean.
Oh.
And she walks back into that room, and there's just another hatch on the outside. See, this way, you can go outside, and you won't make the ocean come inside. Simple, really.
I think I get it. Gaston, have you ever been in one of these things?
Oh, submersible. No, I usually make my way on ships. This is the first time I've really gotten to be inside of one and get to examine it fully.
You see, that's why we wouldn't need any sort of harbor master paperwork for a ship. This isn't a ship.
True. It is a different breed.
See? He said it.
I have faith in it, though.
So with that, and with it, she starts going back, passing you all so that she's almost touching the engine while she walks in front of you back to the front of the ship. Well, come out of there before you burn yourselves.
Oh, yes. Let's hasten ourselves.
And after you're all through, she closes the hatch, turns the wheel. Brock is now inside the door, just staring at everything going on. Look, I didn't actually ask why you're on my ship, but I assume that you're here for the same reason I am, to rescue the crew of the Mola.
No.
Do it.
No. Well, I really overestimated myself on that one. So, do you have any experience in rescuing the crews of ships or in underwater maneuvers?
No.
Huh. Okay, I've really...
Rescuing crews.
Okay,
Perhaps.
So, this really isn't going as well as I was hoping. What exactly are you going to do on this trip to the bottom of the Straits of Shargon?
Well, this started a long time ago, but I joined a cult. And...
No.
Oh, I didn't join a cult.
No, don't lead with that. Don't mention it.
Well, it's already out on the table. We are searching for a glass piece, dragon glass piece. Gaston, do you remember what
Like a
that
statue?
thing called it? No.
Like a mantelpiece?
Dragon crystal,
dragon
I
shard.
think.
Dragon shard.
Oh, dragon shard.
Oh, just a
Lorraine.
dragon
Yes.
shard. Hmm.
Dragon
Dragon
shard.
shard.
Okay, dragon shard, sure, sure.
And then I can unjoin the cult.
And just to be specific, she's the only one that's a part of the cult. The rest of us not associated with any cults.
We don't bring up the
Right?
the cult
And
thing.
I look at the other two like, right?
No, I'm just a sailor. I'm just a sailor, my boy. I'm
And
just
you're
a
saying
sailor.
none of you have any experience on a submersible whatsoever?
I'm
Hmm.
have experience in shooting things with wands.
Ah. Hmm. This, I'm going to have to recalculate the amount of oxygen that this boat holds with the four of you on here. I just realized I've not done that. Do you breathe often, would you say?
Have faith, friend. Have faith.
Maybe
Loren
12
is
times a minute.
very close to hyperventilating, but not quite.
We don't need to be very specific about it. It's fine. We'll just surface more often. It's fine.
We should
Takes
all
longer.
be very calm together. Don't worry. A large part of traveling is trusting the people you're with, being part of a crew.
Mhm.
We have this.
Do you all enjoy music? Is that calming for you?
The sounds of the ocean are most common.
Do you have any Ondarian tunes?
I'm not sure. She turns to the boy who is looking so dour-faced and says, "Brock, do you know any Ondarian songs? Sing something for them. Sing something for them." He's got a beautiful voice. He's such a good boy. Anyways, he's gonna just entertain us all for this first part of the trip.
Oh no.
That's my role, though. It's very good.
Oh yes.
Some good sea shanties.
It's not even sea shanties. It's just a lot of very long, kind of like operatic pieces. And it's in Gnomish. How's everybody's Gnomish?
I know Gnomish.
Great.
Non-existent.
Sorry, Gnomish?
Yeah. Hey.
I hope so. You're a gnome.
It's me.
So you can enjoy opera if you have no idea what's going on, right? Because it's usually with other musical instruments and so forth. But in this case, you have one person singing loudly and very beautifully, but with no accompaniment whatsoever in the bottom of the submarine as you continue towards the Straits of Shargon.
That's a very interesting rendition of Don Giovanni. It's not how I usually heard the story going. I like it though. It's nice.
This is the original.
Oh yes, it's the first quarter. Yeah.
So with that, the boat continues on the way. And after like an hour and a half, you do have to surface. When the boat comes up and the little hatch pops open, you can see the sky is like bright outside. It seems to you like it is quite a bit brighter than you would expect if you had been gone like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's definitely been a little period of time. Like we said, it's been about an hour and a half. And the captain climbs up the ladder and takes a deep breath of air in and just walks around a little bit on top of the deck.
Loren is also immediately up there taking a breather. Is it just wide open sea, or are there like islands? You said we're heading to the Straits of something.
Yeah, you're heading in the direction of the Straits of Shargon. Right now, it's wide open sea, and you can see in the distance there's a couple of sailing vessels that are like going past, and it looks like they're following a very like defined route because they're inside of one another, kind of like going in tandem. But right here, you're off entirely by yourselves. And she says, "All right, now you're with House Kenneth. You're pretty good with measurements and calculations and things like that, probably, right?"
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So I'm imagining a certain rate of drift from the main channel, and the bola, as far as I can tell, is probably in this direction, somewhere in front of us. Between here and Zendrick.
Right. You'd like me to make those calculations? Is what you're asking, or?
No, I mean, I feel fairly good about my calculations, but just in general, thinking about this as colleagues, it sounds likely, don't you think?
Of course. I must confess I'm not up to date on the underwater currents around Corvair, but
Oh.
I
Well-
assume you have.
She flips open her notebook. Let me just share my calculations with you. And with that, begins reading longhand math to you for a period of time. And we're going to go down below decks real quick. While that's going on up on top, Ernie, are you still in the front window?
I think she is at the moment. If there's any fish or anything around, then she's just pressed up against that window. She's seen above the ocean before, but she's never seen beneath it, so she's very mesmerized right now.
So at one point you end up very close to a school of fish, and they're all like a very pretty silver color, especially with the sea and the light reflecting across them. And the boy who's up in the front of the boat, the other gnome boy, Alston, he is sketching furiously on his pad, and he's quite good. And he's making a beautiful rendition of this school of fish, and it really has some depth and some life to it.
She's like leaning over his shoulder, like,
You're pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do
I get a lot of practice on this.
So you do this often?
Yes, it's the only fun part of the voyage.
Are you not like an artist then?
He looks up. Does this not look like art to you?
No, I mean, are you fully employed with it, or is it like your hobby? It looks like art. What I'm trying to say is that you could sell it if you wanted to.
He does a very thorough look to both sides and even up over his head and says, if my mother's around, I am training as a submersible sailor,
Right.
but my soul is that of an artist.
and she sort of goes, ah, and just like slaps him real hard on the back.
And it was just like, that's really good. Pursue it. Doesn't matter. Do what you want to do. That's exactly what I did.
How did that go for you?
Well, I'm now a bard. I tell stories, I sing songs. It's all good.
Were you disowned? Did your family relinquish all claim on you? And
I don't know how much it counts, but my dad died, so he didn't have much of a say in it at that point. But Mum seems all right with it. I think. Dad was the main one that wanted me to have a proper job.
I understand.
I just didn't want, what he wanted for me.
To pursue art full time. And he kind of goes back to sketching.
And
He
she
lost
sort of
his
like
own.
she leers over his shoulder. She's watching everything he's doing.
It's like, that's good, yeah. Did you look at that?
Like, and she goes past murmuring over his shoulder.
I've got one more real quick before we hit our break, which is Gaston. Thurston roughly hits you in the shoulder like this and thrusts a tiny flask towards you.
You flatter me, Thurston.
No space for the good stuff, but here's the bad stuff.
Oh, the bad stuff gets you through the day.
It's quite bracing. It's basically turpentine.
Oof. Man, I haven't had something like this in a while.
Sometimes the gears get stuck on the boat.
Yeah.
Gotta give them a little push.
Well, truer words truly never spoken, my friend. Here, I think I have some left on me. Actually, I think it's quite empty.
Yeah. And Thurston kind of throws his hands up in a "what are you going to do" motion, and he has a big heart here on the inside of his arm, and it says Mola written on it.
Bold. Very bold. I love it. I do love it, my friend.
Well, if you've got a boat, and you really feel it in your heart, you've got to show the world.
True.
Of course, now she's sunk.
Oh. No. Hey.
No, it's fine.
It's great. It's great. The connection between man and boat is that one that which no one truly understands until they take sailing into their heart.
Oh, you get it. You get it. And he hands you the flask.
I do. Oh, truly does awaken the senses.
You can't have too much more. You're going to go blind.
Yes, I get that feeling. Very plainly.
And with this mess of a crew kind of like enjoying their very short air break, I think this is probably where we're going to take a real quick break. Everybody can get a drink, make sure you guys hydrate. This includes the people watching, of course. You must hydrate. It is important for you. And we'll be back.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll be back.
Also, check out, Scrat is going to play a video for the Deck of Many Kickstarter as we go into a break. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll be back in a second. Bye.
Oh no, Jimmy! Heckna's after us! What are we gonna do? Sword beats face! Ha! Looks like you really lost your edge, huh? God, I'm funny. So, I guess weapons don't work! Hey, why aren't you laughing? Oh, I know! Let me hit you with the punchline! Wait! My animated spell cards! They can save us! Well, jeepers, Jane. Blast them! Avada Kedavra! Right in the funny bone. Bleh. I really don't like that guy. We did it! Yeah! Defeat your greatest foes with the most powerful spells. Animated spells are back, with level 6 to 9. Each spell card features 8 frames of looping animation that makes the spell come to life, and contains all the spell details on the back. And for the first time, you can divine with a fully animated tarot card deck. Will you read Fortune or Folly? Jane! Heckna's reforming! Not on my watch! Meteor swarm! Go to animatedspells.com and back the Kickstarter today.
Look, why don't you go help your friend and Alston look out the windows in front, and if you see anything that looks like a shipwreck, just let me know, and that will help me confirm whether or not we're near the actual site.
Absolutely do that. That sounds like the best place for me to be right now. Just kind of stoop my way to the front.
They're very like large windows. You've got like this big 3-foot dome. You can kind of just like curl yourself up against the surface if you want.
I just get up next and like, hello, Ellie.
She sort of smiles.
Is that, so what do you think? How you feeling? You alright?
She sort of looks.
You know, it's a novel experience that I'm sure I will never forget. But for now, I think we need to keep a lookout for the wreckage. So we both keep a lookout, and I think everything will be fine.
Do you look nervous? Like, do you look visibly nervous?
He's noticeably pale.
Yeah, she sort of ducks her head underneath to look at his, and is like,
You okay? I mean, you look awful. No offense.
No, as I thought I was going to be fine, but this is much smaller than I had thought, and we are surrounded on all sides by water, and we could drown at any moment, and...
Drown?
Can
you swim?
Not well, but yes.
Well, if we start sinking, you start paddling. And I can swim, so I'll keep an eye out for you. You know, just in case it all goes wrong and falls and starts crashing and, you know.
It's not helping.
So, yeah, at this point, I think Ernie and Laren should make a perception test. And while you guys roll those dice, let's find out what Gaston and Cinnamon are doing right now. What's Gaston doing?
I think he's still hanging with
Thurston.
I forgot his name
Yep.
for a moment. Yeah, I think they're just chatting, sharing probably stories of the sea.
Okay. So, as previously described, this boat is intended to be driven by one person. So, Thurston is pretty much just standing there in the middle of the boat doing nothing. And so the two of you are like very visible to the captain, who you're standing directly in front of, but does not seem to be distracting her whatsoever. So, there's that. Yeah, how about Cinnamon? What's Cinnamon doing?
How good looking is Brock?
How good looking is Brock? Well, first off, he is a foot shorter than you. Yeah, that's about the worst case scenario here. For a gnome, his hair is black and a little bit curly, like making like light waves like his mom's hair. He has this very smushed in red nose right now, and the big thing is he scowls a lot. Like he has a very flat brow, and he just kind of like, this is his expression.
Well, teenagers are really into that dark emo look. So
yes.
Cinnamon is smitten, but she does know how to express it. So she's just sitting there in front of him, being like, "So, what do you do?"
And he's like a cool 17 years old. So with that, of course, he's very cool and can totally handle all this. And so he says, "I don't know. I like boats."
Uh-huh. What do you like about boats?
They're and after a few seconds, it's like there's this like blush creeping up his neck into his cheeks, and then Brock says, "I have to check the engine," and he goes over to the hatch, and you hear the hatch being like cranked out really hard, and then it just goes like thump behind him as he runs away.
Oh, okay then.
So with that, let's check on these perception rolls, which I did not check earlier. Okay. So Ernie, Alston is sketching the like dismayed face of Loren as all this is going on, and he's being very surreptitious about it, but you've totally caught him. He's doing a very good job of catching Loren's like facial features and that like look of dismay, the wide open hollow eyes, but he's somewhat fasted.
Loren isn't even looking. He's just like 1,000-yard stare into the depths.
Looking for a shipwreck while this gnome looks at you.
The likeness is uncanny.
Like as he sort of looks over his shoulder.
thank you. I so rarely get to draw people.
Do you not draw your family?
Only when they're sleeping.
A little bit creepy, I'll be honest. Do you have
Now that
permission, or?
I share a room with my brother, so it didn't sound creepy until you said it, but now that I say it...
Yeah, you might want to think about that.
Yeah, that's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah, real creepy. People get arrested for that kind of thing.
I'm so sorry, Faye.
Brute Faye. This only ever happens when Holmes is my DM.
That's not true, though. What time it was in Bree's game, I was just sitting there.
That's true. Well, yeah. It's just when we play together, basically.
There's so much awkwardness.
So with that, you continue for a while in the boat, and things seem pretty regular and normal and so forth. And Gaston, you're getting the real information, the details here, because Thurston's like, he does this thing, he likes hitting people in the shoulder. He's real big into that. But as he's talking to you, he says, the thing about the Straits of Shargon is you got to be ready because there could be a Shargon anywhere. And he grabs his crossbow. He says, I usually got my crossbow with me in case anyone tries anything, but we're under the water and we're inside of a submersible. It doesn't really work. But on top of the boat, like the Mola, like a nice big size boat, if you see something, you just shoot at it. It works out real well. Something comes up near your boat, you just shoot at it.
Very true, very true. I am a devil with a bow myself.
Also, the Mola, it's one of the safest boats you could be on because there's like a emergency system. Larilla developed it, and he points back at the lady at the controls of the submersible, and he says, so when we find the Mola, even if it's under the water, everyone should be fine. At least 3 people should be fine.
Oh, Okay, I like those odds.
There's like a bubble. It makes a big bubble of air. And if we see them and they're under the water, they should just be breathing air.
Such ingenious invention.
It's made with one of those, what's it called? Like a dragon stone.
Dragonstone. Interesting. Quite interesting indeed. How far out do you think we are from our destination?
Goes like this for a while. Takes his flask out. Takes a big sip. Shakes his head like this for a bit. I think we're almost there.
Oh, very nice. I'll be sad when this trip is over.
If you ever want to get back on the boat, I know some people. I know the people on the Mola. You could always use another good sailor.
Well, to be honest, I'm very thankful for this trip. As a sailor for so many years, not many new experiences to be had.
And there's plenty more of this where I come from. Every once in a while I got to scrub the boat clean. So.
Yes, truly a brew for only the hardy.
So now with all of this very good background things going on and so forth, let's do a perception roll number 1 for people who are looking for the shipwreck, the Mola. Let's see who is going to be the spotter.
Cinnamon has gone to chase after Brock. She's not looking for anything.
That's fair. There's this really big metal door. If you want to do something about that, you could do something about that.
Can she is there like a wheel to?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna open the door.
Okay, you go ahead and make an athletics check. Everybody else can roll for perceiving boats.
Ernie's a little bit too distracted by the artwork and the troubling stories it's bringing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Loretta's still just 1,000-yard staring at. He is not doing great.
That's okay. So, first off, the people at the front of the boat don't see it for a reason, which is that you are coming alongside this shipwreck, and you're finding that out now. Gaston, you have a sense of a boat. And when something is scraping the keel of a boat, you're pretty aware of that pretty quickly. You hear that like kind of like nails on a chalkboard, but softer. Something is physically pressing against this boat and with a like rubbing, like a pushing sensation. You have struck another boat. At the same time, when you get this like lurch when the boat hits, Cinnamon, that's when you really kick the triceps into full gear, throw this wheel on this hatch. The hatch spins open and it falls like this door. Did we say goes towards you? I think this door has to go in. If it doesn't go in, this is going to be bad if there's any sort of water. So the door goes in, you almost tumble into the door, but you don't because Brock is standing there about to go through the door himself, and he catches you. And it is awkward. Because he's staring up at you like this, but he's very strong, but he's very confused, but he's not letting go.
Cinnamon says nothing. This is the most awkward experience she's ever had in her life. She's never been this close to a man before. Boy.
And he just does this for a while. So while all this is going on, Gaston, again, you have sensed the boats are colliding. The captain has made no change in course. Thurston is still drinking his paint thinner.
Hold fast. We're
What's
here.
that now? We're here. No. This is far too close. This isn't. With the drift. With the drift, maybe with a. And she slaps down one of these antennae, and the boat goes. And it just kind of like stops. But at that same time, Cinnamon, I think I'm gonna have to roll for Brock to see if he can keep holding you upright.
Come on.
Because the boat is stopping now. Nope. And he kind of like collapses back up against the door frame and goes, sorry.
I think she just falls into him. I think there needs to be a kiss moment.
So the door is like swinging on its hinge, and like Cinnamon leans in and the door swings in. And like when the door swings back out, they're just kissing. He's a 17-year-old boy kissing a 16-year-old girl. It's not good. It's just.
It's not good.
It's about quantity. It's not about quality at this point.
It's just not good.
It's just like, it's
It's
awkward.
Scrabble.
You know, like the noses are like completely mushed into each other. It's just awkward.
And
Especially
of course,
because
because
his nose is already like...
he just goes, oh. Yep. We all know how that goes.
Big himbo energy, yeah.
I feel bad for chat because we've already laughed about these things by the time they catch up to it, then it starts me off again.
One of the main reasons I have chat open.
The live reactions are why you run a game on stream. For when you do crazy stuff like this, then people have an opinion on it. It's great.
I know.
And then,
So with-
Oh boy.
oh, sorry. I was
No,
going to
you
say
go ahead.
Cinnamon just hightails it out of there as soon as this is over.
Does anyone see this? Just out of curiosity.
I think our perception checks were all so bad, there's no chance.
No.
Okay.
Gaston might say something, but when do you say something?
Listen. I was young once. I was young once as well.
Oh my god, Scrat laugh quieter. It keeps me up. It's time
So-
for the talk.
Yep.
I'm not. Ernie's not doing it. Straight up.
There's so much going on in this scene. It's so good. So with that, the captain is now trying to like peer around the window. So she's all the way up, like almost like leaning up against Ernie, like pushing with her head. But this window is not built to look alongside the ship. So she's like really craning her head. It's just not working.
Trust me, we must check. We must check indeed.
But the windows aren't working. So if somebody's going to check, they're going to have to go outside.
Well, yes.
All right. I'll be here when you get back.
Sure. Advise me the best way to do it, I shall do it. It is no bother on my part.
Thurston, Show him how you put on the suit. And Thurston goes like, starts walking towards the back hatch. So Gaston, you're in the back. They have like opened a big drawer, and there is a big suit that looks like it's made of very, very heavy canvas with a lot of metal plates strapped to it. And they have a metal bowl that you're going to put upon your head. And there's a long tube running out of it. And they say, look, you put the suit on, put the helmet on, make sure it's real tight here, and I'll help you with all the screws and fastenings and so forth. And this line here, that's your air hose. Comes back to the ship, make sure you're still breathing.
Ah, yes. Make sure it doesn't get cut, you know. As I am an experienced sailor, but I can only hold my breath so long.
That's a good point. Hey, you got this. Here, let me help you with it. And he starts putting the suit on, and it's just about your size. And there's a name patch right here on the side that says Thurston. And he's helping you put it on and fastening the back up and tightening down the neck bolts and so forth.
Okay. Do I feel secure?
You can't say anything from in there, so if you feel okay, put your thumb up like this. You're going to be fine. Look, I'm going to close this door, and then you open that door and let the sea in. Clunk.
Well, here we go into darkness. Let's start opening up.
And the good news is that this door does not just go and just like throw the entire sea at you. It does slowly, gently fill in. And then when the water gets all the way up to the top, the door fully releases and you're able to walk out.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're kind of floating. And the fingers on this suit has like webbed gloves. So you can do a little bit of a paddle, like a frog paddle. So you're able to maneuver around a little bit. There is a very large wooden hulk alongside this tiny little bronze boat.
I told them. I did tell them.
Yeah, and the boats they're touching like this. And as you swim up kind of over the top, you can see the rail. And in the center of this boat, there's like a big yellow glow.
Oh, I shall try to get closer to examine it.
And that's happening. You're getting closer and closer. And you're swimming, and you're almost to the point of touching that yellow. And there are 3 gnomes sitting on the deck playing cards. One of them kind of waves at you like this.
What is happening? Wish I had some way to communicate. Right now in this water. Any spells to help me?
I don't think Loren's even aware this is all going on yet.
We'll get closer.
Get closer, and you're about to touch that yellow glow. And then you're at the point where you could touch it. Are you okay? What are you going to do?
I look at these gnomes, and I point to this yellow thing, and I'm like, I will approach them, I suppose, if they're motioning for me.
They're motioning for you, and now Gaston has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no. Sorry, my thing wasn't popping up.
No worries.
Hey,
You do great. You're doing so great. There's a sensation where suddenly you realize you're not in water, you're kind of in air, and you're wearing this big heavy suit, and you just kind of like fall gently to the deck.
Hey, I'm still alive.
It's a little bit muted, but you can hear, you could take off the suit now.
I don't know about that.
It's just air. You breathe air, don't you?
Of course, but still, that feels very sketchy.
One of them is like standing up and like going like this, and like, look, I'm doing a dance. It's fine.
An insight check.
Yeah.
Doing a dance, it's fine. I love that. It's a normal roll. 14.
They really think it's a good idea for you to take this thing off.
Well, I guess so.
You can just take the helmet off. You don't have to take the whole thing off.
I will try to undo this helmet.
That's a good point. We did describe this being screwed onto your neck, so I don't think that's going to happen, but they do come over and start like helping you with it. And when it pops off, you are in a like a bubble of air.
What on earth?
Hey, thanks for coming to get us. You've got to be with Lorilla, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
actually.
I'm Zook. That's Orla. That's Glim. We're the rest of the crew of the Mola. Let's get out of here.
Sure. What is that?
The bubble, this thing.
No, the yellow thing.
Yeah, the yellow bubble thing that we're all in. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, didn't Lorilla tell you that there was like a special like air bubble?
No.
Oh, there's a special air bubble.
Okay. Well,
Just in case the ship goes down, we've got air.
Right. So this is your previous ship?
This is the I mean, kind of the current ship, but I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to get a new ship after this.
Right. Well, how are we gonna get all of us back onto this submersible?
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, there's one suit to get back across, and 4 of us.
I mostly pull on the ropes. I mean, maybe you should ask Lorilla what she would do, because I know that the bubble makes air. That's about it. Look, I can't stay down here. I've already lost 200 gold to these people at cards.
200 gold. My God, man.
I thought I
Self-control.
had a really good hand.
It's always a really good hand.
It was a really good hand.
Yes, yes. But you must keep your fortunes to yourself.
All right, look, if this is going to take a while, I might be able to win it back. I mean, it could happen.
You must stop. You must stop here.
One more hand, okay? I mean, you can just go check with Lorilla. I'm going to play one more hand.
Oh, sure. One more hand. Of course, of course. I believe you, my friend.
Okay.
Give me a little time to get back to them, and I will figure out what we shall do.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, yeah. And he helps you screw your helmet back on. And
Is it screwed on tightly?
It's pretty good.
Okay, here we go. And I'll go back.
And you're back. And you turn the doors, and the water drains out, and the other door opens up, and Lorilla and Brock are both standing there, like, right outside the engine, like, looking at you very excitedly when you open the door. Well, it worked, because you're still alive.
Yes, I had faith, great faith. I have found your people, your 3. Mr.
You found
Crew.
the crew of the Mola. That's great. Okay, so can you describe their position? Because that way maybe I can back the boat up to them.
They're in a yellow bubble.
Well, right, I know about the bubble. I made the bubble. But I mean, how close is it? Did you take accurate measurements?
No, it can't be more than, I don't know, 100 meters, 90 meters.
You said you're a sailor, right?
120 meters.
How good are you at sailing?
Very good. I am a premier sailor. This is a submersible, and I have just gone outside into the ocean.
Look, the wheel's pretty much the same. Maybe you can just back her up into the bubble.
Oh, you want me to?
But you said you're a very good sailor.
Oh, yes. You know what? I'm sure I can manage it. I've been watching you on the wheel for as long as we've been here, so I'm sure this will be fine.
Come with me. And the captain puts you in front of the wheel, and she's given you now a 2-minute tutorial on how all of the levers work.
Oh, wow. I'm really doing this. Okay. What would you like me to roll for that?
Well, you've got to roll a piloting watercraft. So that's pretty much rolling with your proficiency bonus and dexterity, I think. Unless you want to make an argument for a different stat.
I feel like Dex is apt.
Let's do that.
Okay. So if it's Dex and my proficiency, that's D20 plus 7.
All right.
Loren's just going to be still at the front, like, I think I see... No, wait, that's just a weird rock. What's going on back there?
As the ship suddenly starts like going up and backwards and sideways.
Sorry, let me grab my... Yep, I'll just roll this like this.
No worries.
Oh no.
It's not bad. I mean, for taking a submersible up and backwards and into a bubble, not bad. I would say if anything, you've maybe gone a little too far in beyond what you really needed to. So the back of the ship is firmly inside the yellow bubble. Loren, at the edge of the bubble's vision area, you get the idea. You can see this yellow field is like up against where the windows are.
Aha! Hopefully I didn't squash anyone, right?
We should
probably check.
I don't have any sort of... Yeah, there's no way you could tell.
Don't worry, I know because I am extremely skilled. Once again, extremely.
She runs up to the back door. A couple seconds later, she's turning the wheel and throwing it open. And she says, "It's okay!" And she runs out of the ship at this point.
As soon as I hear that, I immediately run out as well.
Yeah, there's a nice fresh breeze of air that's coming in. It's nice, and it has kind of an ozone-y quality, like a slightly artificial air, but there's definitely fresh air that wasn't there before.
So this is like a yellow air bubble on top of a different submersible ship?
So what's happened is a conventional ship has sunk. And sitting at like the mid-deck, right where the main mast is, there's a giant bubble of air.
Does it extend below decks, or is it just on the top deck?
That's a great question that you may find the answer to by going below decks. Right now it's like a hemisphere, so you've got like a semi-bubble, and you never know.
You said the captain of the other ship is here, right?
That's right. So she's standing up and she is hugging her sister.
This is incredible magic. How did you do this?
The captain of your submersible, Lorilla, she like pats at her hair and like straightens her jacket. She says, "Well, it's simple when you've got the right tools and the right understanding of mathematics." And it was actually a lot of work, but this is a prototype.
It's quite exceptional.
You're from House Cannith, aren't you?
Yes.
That's what you said.
This
Maybe we should talk about this more when we're finished with this.
Yes, absolutely. This is definitely something we could, as a house, look to producing, and yes. Because I definitely have the might of House Cannith behind me.
There's no role required here because she is enthusiastic, but she says, "Let me show you how it works." And she grabs Loren roughly by the sleeve and starts pulling him towards the bubble generator.
I gladly follow, because I'm no longer inside of a small submersible and there is magic about.
Yeah, and this bubble is tall too. You've got like 10 feet of air all around you. You can stretch out your arms. You can stand upright.
Oh, my shoulders.
What's everybody else doing? For example, what is Ernie doing?
I think Annie's watching everything in awe, more until she's told what she's supposed to do, because she's never been underwater before. If she's told to go outside and swim, she'll go outside and swim. But at the moment, she's watching everything sort of go down. Still sort of looking over at that sketch pad every now and then, but it's like, can I do anything at all? Or
I'm gonna stay here.
Alston is enhancing the cheekbones of his drawing of Loren right now. He says, no, they've likely forgotten about us because there's boat business about.
Okay, can you show me how to draw like that?
How to what?
Draw like that.
Like this?
Like that, yeah.
All right. So he flips the page. He says, you just start with rough shapes, and he draws like a big oval. And this is like when you see that thing at the back of the comic book where it's like draw Spider-Man in 20 easy steps.
Yeah.
He's
and then
doing
it just
that with you right now.
jumps to the exact perfect drawing at the end. Yeah.
He's like, draw a circle. Yeah, just add shading and cheekbones and a nose and
No, that's pretty damn good. I like it.
And she stands there, and she's got her own piece of paper out, and she's trying to draw the fish, and it is literally, you know how a child does that one line fish with a big like eye and the dot in the middle, and she's sort of copying, leaning over like, yeah, no, I got this. Yeah.
That's a very nice
It's a fish.
tuna.
Is that what that is?
Maybe.
Do you know a lot of fish?
Yes.
Like types?
Yes.
So what is that?
And points out the script out that she's drawing.
Thank you for that gift, Alice. That was the exact thing that
I
someone should be
know.
asking. I appreciate that so much.
I know it's gonna happen.
He turns the page. He says, "Why, that's a simple hunter shark." And he turns the page, and he goes, "And that is a Shargon right there." And you see the like fish man like.
Yeah, as it sort of comes up, she's like,
Oh, I see.
and pulls out her own drawing and starts sketching it. They sit there and sketch it. So,
So we've got all that going on. What's happening with Cinnamon right now?
Cinnamon is completely smitten. She's like run out of the room. She's like hidden herself in a corner, and she's lost in her own little world.
I think Brock is not terribly good at boy emotions either. So I think the way that he's expressing the fact that Cinnamon is neat is by taking a small hammer and denting the wall like around the door to the engine room. He's just like hitting the wall.
No one can express emotions.
Not on a submarine. That's not fair. If submarine movies teach us anything, we don't express emotions on a submarine.
He just starts hammering their initials into the side.
At some point, like when we get this big wide shot, we're going to realize that he might be hammering the letter C into this, but it's not really clear to us yet. That's very good. I like that. So with all of that, Gaston, what are you doing? Are you still at the helm?
I'm going to put it in park because we came here to find dragon crystal stone.
Yep.
Something or other. Honestly, the sailing was always the more interesting part for me.
That's very fair. So you've gone out of the ship now?
Yes.
Okay. Thurston and the third gnome, who is neither the captain nor the poker loser, Thurston is like manly embracing and mostly hitting in the shoulder this third gnome, but the one who had lost all the money before looks at you and looks down at the ground and then like mopes around in circles at this point.
Should have quit while you were, you weren't ahead, but should have quit while you still had something.
Yep. So in this bubble, there is the top master, the main mast of the ship, and then over by there's like this very large golden ring that attaches to the deck. And Loren, you've been shown over there by Lorilla, and she says, now, honestly, something like this is very difficult to achieve, but the most important thing is really having the right dragon shards, because without something to power this thing, it would never work. The whole thing's powered by a Siberys dragon shard. I don't know where I got my hands on it from. It was did I win in a poker game? I don't remember, but that's basically the only thing that holds us together. Here. And she flips the little hatch, and there's a big glowing golden shard right there.
Interesting. That's a very nice specimen. I have plenty of Eberron dragon shards that I've worked with in the past, but never a Siberys. This is fantastic.
The Eberron ones don't do what you need, and the Kyber ones, well, I mean, I don't know if you know if that would work for something like this, but this Siberys shard,
No.
it makes air. Apparently, when I put it in this specific configuration, I got air.
Interesting. Well, what are you planning on doing with it? Do you think you can get this vessel back to the surface, or is this essentially just a foobard?
Her sister walks up and she says, "No, the mole is gone. Everything below deck's all ruined. There's a huge hole in the side of the ship. Everything's definitely going to have to be scrapped. We need to get on the what are we calling it again?" And Lorilla says, "It's the Grampus." She says, "We just have to get on the Grampus and go back."
Well, it would be a shame to leave this here. I mean, obviously we need to make sure that everyone gets on the ship, but I think if since we have that fantastic underwater breathing apparatus, if one person is left behind in that, and then they take that with them, and then we can salvage at least this from the ship, because this is not something you want to be leaving at the bottom of the ocean.
Lorilla says, "No, that's definitely why I came back, for my sister and for this. For the two things."
You said everything else below deck was ruined. What was your cargo? Is there anything that might help us?
The cargo for the Mola? I
yes.
mean, there are some things. I don't think there's anything that's really worth bringing on a vessel of this size. I mean, especially with you and taking up all the room and all the air.
Just kind of looking around, like expecting something to go wrong at this point, because everything's gone too easily. Is like, how long have you been down here, and you've been safe in this bubble?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're safe down here.
How long though?
It's been 4 days. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing's tried to attack you or anything?
Oh no, we get attacked all the time.
Oh.
But the Sahuagin, they can't go inside the bubble. I mean, it's air. They don't breathe air.
That's true.
So, yeah, that's Orla says to her sister, "Yeah, when we leave, they're going to attack us. Certainly, they're definitely going to attack us."
Can we preemptively strike them, or are we going to have to wait for them to come to us?
Well, that's a good question. How good are you at breathing water?
I cannot.
Me too.
I can definitely give them hell, but we need to make sure that we can all not drown.
So, like from inside the bubble, you would do something.
Absolutely.
I mean, it couldn't hurt. As you look out in the distance, the shark that Ernie is tracking with the Sahuagin, like riding on its back, is just like floating by in the distance.
Yes, then. They're definitely waiting for us.
Yeah, something. I mean,
I don't know. What do you think we should do? I'm very literally out of my element.
Well, maybe we should all sit down, do some planning, think about what we want to achieve, the optimal outcomes for the situation, do kind of like a big group think over it all. What do you think? You can bring your friends out here.
I'd yell at everyone, like, Stan, Ernie, Cinnamon. Ernie, stop drawing. We're going to be killing that thing very soon.
Just look at it. Why? It looks great.
Like, she's holding up her picture very proudly.
Wait,
And
what are we
it
killing?
looks amazing.
It's awful. The drawing is awful.
We're just gonna put that on the fridge.
You better. It's damn good.
Right.
Cinnamon has had no idea that any of this is happening. She's been in her own little world, imagining things about Brock.
Ernie turns to Cinnamon like, look.
Cinnamon.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Can I have
So-
it?
Yeah. Let me sign it for you.
She's like, tears it out and sort of hands it to Cinnamon.
Yeah, Cinnamon like very carefully puts it in her pocket before actually looking to see what like Loren and like Gaston are pointing at.
We're going to have company, very unfriendly company, very soon, and we need to figure out how we're going to take care of that and get this and all of the friends onto the ship.
Oh, but love conquers all.
What?
Can we
I
not
didn't-
just like distract it, feed it, throw food somewhere else, and then real quick get our buddies on board?
I'd say yes, except for the rider of that shark is likely going to make sure that it stays on target. But it's worth a shot for distraction at least. But
Right.
If you want, I can try and distract it, and then try and get everyone on board real quick.
well, if any of your crew members, he says this to, like the captain and everyone, if they're not fighters, they should get onto the submersible now, so that we can take care of this without having to worry about any civilian casualties.
Oh, I
Well,
can
it
help
says-
Ernie distract
That's fine. We
it.
can all just get on.
Yeah, we'll distract it,
Like it looks towards Cinnamon.
right?
Yeah. Cinnamon pulls out her rapier and her dagger. Which looks very strange from a poor 16-year-old just like holding up these like deadly weapons.
Okay.
You gotta look after Chunks though if you're staying in.
I'm sort of looking at Lauren.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll certainly try my best to aim from in here, but I might have to go out, in which case I will leave Chonkers here in the bubble where he will be safe.
Please do.
And she sort of like puts him on you
Don't fidget too much, he bites.
and starts to head towards to try and get the attention of this thing. Sort of looking to Cinnamon like,
Ready?
All right.
She's up. Bye, Chunkers.
like rubbing his little cheeks and then heads off.
Good rat.
It's a very starey rat.
Okay, so we have Chonkers with Loren in the boat. We've got Ernie and Cinnamon who are standing out by the edge of the bubble,
Yes.
and all of the gnomes went on the boat. They're not going to do this, except Thurston offered to stick his crossbow at something. And is there any plan to deal with the shard? What's the plan there?
Well, I think the plan is to take care of the Sahagin and the shark before even getting the shard onto the submersible, really.
Okay, sounds good. So this Sahagin that's been floating around with the shark, it keeps looking at Ernie every once in a while, and then kind of like floating up out of nowhere comes another Sahagin, and this one is wearing like a very long, elaborate green dress that just like goes down past its foot flippers, and she has a large crown that like spreads out a branching coral and a long staff. And she just kind of appears out of nowhere up into Ernie's view.
Question, do we know if this bubble pops if we sort of go through it? Because obviously Loren went through it, but I'm more thinking blades or anything like that, just in case, or anything magic.
I guess you could have asked Lorella. Probably not. Probably not.
I mean, we backed the whole entire submersible.
Yeah, you won't depressurize or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if this just emerges in front of her, she's gonna glare at it all the way up.
And now there's like a lot of elaborate hand motions and so forth. Go ahead and make an insight check. Cinnamon, you can also make an insight check if you want.
Oh no.
Not going to be very good. Cinnamon is not paying any attention to anything. Oh,
Is that,
not bad.
Is that for Loren as well, or
Yeah, if you want, you could say you're looking. Sure.
I don't think it's going to be very good.
You never know. Hey, good stuff.
Apparently.
Okay. Faye, this, with all the gesturing and the total silence, kind of reminds you of Brock. It reminds Cinnamon just a little bit of Brock with his very stoic, sullen ways. Ernie and Loren are getting something a little different from this. There seems to be a message that's being communicated here through hand gestures. This is a little bit of interpretive dance type theater. There is a story being told with hands. And if you had to guess, which of course you do based on this roll, it seems like this creature is telling you something about the ship, the Mola, that is somehow interfering with what she wants.
I think Annie then starts to try and go back there. He starts trying to communicate what is the problem? What's wrong with the ship? Like, it's all over the place.
Go ahead and make a performance check.
17. She's sort of doing the
priestess is watching you intently, so while all this is going on and you're like making the signs, then she continues like talking with her hands and talking about what's going on here. And it seems like the Mola has come down on top of something big, and it needs to be moved so that they can go inside.
and starts like going back like, I got it, I get the message, and turns around, we gotta move the ship. That's the main problem here.
How do we move a ship?
I was going to say it's very big.
Well, didn't they have any engines in the first place?
It's just a regular ship. The only real special thing about it is this dragon shard that we need to figure out how we're going to take ourselves. But otherwise, it's a bloody ship. I don't know how we're going to move it if they want it moved.
Can we use the other ship to like move this ship? Just
give it a
use
nudge.
to like nudge. Yeah, nudge. Little kiss.
And he looks Cinnamon for a moment.
You all right?
Yeah, nothing happened. No kissing happened.
Right.
Again, I always feel like I could use my nat 20 for the beginning, like oh, bullshit.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's, yeah. Can we nudge the ship?
Can we nudge the ship? What do you think, Gaston? Can you nudge the ship?
I think that is a very risky proposition. We risk damaging both the working ship and the unworking ship. And that could result in all of us not having a very good time, to put it in a light way.
Is the submersible even big enough that we could feasibly leverage it against the other ship?
Who are you asking?
That was more like an out of character question. Like, what's the size comparison?
So the Grampus is tiny, like an anchovy, and the Mola is big, like a non-anchovy, something bigger. So yeah, this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. If this goes badly, then it might be like Cinnamon jumping on Brock. You know, it might just get smushed.
Right. Wow. We must think of another path.
This isn't exactly my wheelhouse for the kind of magic that I have.
Does it look lodged on anything? I mean, like, is the boat caught? Like, if we move something, would it tumble?
That's a good question. You didn't really get to see underneath the boat at all.
I mean, I'll swim down there and have a look.
So, talking it over, Orla says, well, the bottom of the boat, there's a big rock that's going right through it now. So it is kind of lodged on something, yes.
Who's wearing the suit right now?
No one right now. So Lorilla goes up to Loren. The inventor says to you, look, I don't know if this is a good idea, but if we took all of the power that goes into the generation of air and we turned it into thrust, I wonder if we could just dislodge the boat that way.
It's possible.
It's really not my style. I'm not used to making things go fast. Look, I think if we do it wrong, we'll probably crash the Mola into our boat and we'll all sink. But if we do it right, that won't happen.
Idea.
Lovely.
We go back with the whole plan of everyone else getting on the ship and one person going out and grabbing the shard while in the the suit. But if the other ship can get far enough away that the person in the suit can still operate the controls of the Mola, then that would reduce the risk to the other ship.
Okay, this is a good point. So what you're saying is we let one person pull the lever, so that way if it does not work, everyone else will be fine.
Exactly. And hopefully that person too, but is better than risking everyone.
Right.
And then afterwards they could grab the dragon shard and get the hell out.
We could try that.
I'm not a sailor, but I don't want to ask Gaston to do it. But something like this I might be able to, given my familiarity with these kind of magical artifacts.
Yeah. I mean, I could. The suit. There's some stretch.
Does anyone else have any other bright ideas?
Well, if we're going to do this and not help them move whatever that is, they might still come after us.
Well, that's what we're saying. We'll move the ship with the thrust, and then hopefully it dislodges.
Okay.
Hopefully.
How much stretch is in that suit?
It's going to bind. It's going to be a bit snug.
Oh, fine. I'll do it.
I would like to communicate this to the the other thing, but
Okay, go ahead and roll, but I am going to use one of my disadvantages against you because it'll be funnier. It's still not that bad. There were some gestures in there that may have come across as rude, but you did have the general gist there.
Why is it going?
So there's that. You've done that. Yeah, so let's give a technical overview now as we near the end of our plan about what's going on the Mola. The Mola does have a complete sphere of air. So it goes down below decks, and there's a small area you can actually walk down there. There's a big rock that's ended up down through the middle of the hole because of the space and so forth. But it's not just like a pointy thing like this. It looks roughly like it's like a crater. It's like the ship stuck itself so that the rear of the ship is stuck into a crater. And up at the top where the main mast is, that's where the big, shiny, glowy orb comes out, orb sphere of air. And that's just controlled from that ring that goes around the mast.
All right, so we're all going to get onto the submersible. Gaston's going to get into the suit and try and thrust and pilot the ship off of what's keeping it there. I guess, again, unless anybody has any other ideas.
I'm going to use the thrust to break off the rock, get the crystal, bring it on home. Yeah, no, I think this is perfectly reasonable. It's all going to go completely fine.
And it's just like, you got this, buddy.
It just starts to go back to the other ship. Straight back to the window though, because she wants to monitor in case anything does go wrong.
Just a little kiss.
What? What does that mean?
I drag Cinnamon back in with
There's like a distant hammering sound.
No, this is potential death.
Loren Lauren doesn't need an insight check to realize fucking teenagers.
It's the best part.
Gaston's kind of focused on potential imminent death.
Okay, so my proposal is we cut to the moment where Gaston is about to effectively throw the lever and try to make this thing go in a way that will not be bad. So,
one question, just I was going to ask, depending on how far away our ship goes, can we tie a rope to Gaston?
the good news is his air hose is kind of a rope already.
I was going to say, does it act enough as a rope to keep hold of him?
You could probably do both.
Okay. I think Ernie will make him do both because she doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, this will go fine. Yes, this is going to be fine.
What kind of rule do you want to propose for making this thing do what it's supposed to do?
To make this, basically break off of the rock? Ooh, I'm going to dislike myself for this, but I'm feeling like that's intelligence.
Okay. I'm going to say you can add your proficiency because you have some idea of how water vehicles work.
Okay, so that's a +4.
So there's that.
Okay. Wait.
On crit.
I think I have an advantage.
Yep. That looks like that's true.
Yes, you do.
Oh boy. I guess I'll use that for this. Okay. Roll number 1. Roll number 2. 14. Just looking for a little higher there, buddy.
So you're like moving this device back and forth. You're trying to rock it. You're trying to like move it. And you think you understand how it's supposed to like lift up and push off. And it is not going. Nothing's happening here. And as you're like playing with it, this dragon shard is getting kind of loose in its housing too.
You stay there.
Yeah. There might be like one more shot in trying this.
Oh boy. Gee. How did I get myself into this mess? Okay. Once more into the breach. And I will try again.
Okay.
Come on.
Can I...
Oh.
I was going to say, can I bardic inspire him, but...
You could for something else, because now the dragon shard falls out of the device, the air bubble collapses. And so there's not like a rushing in. It's just like there's water now. And this gold like ring that's around the mast, it's just there. It stops humming, it starts glowing. And the dragon shard, you see it like tink down on the deck, and it like does a little roll bounce thing and it starts going over the edge of the ship towards the sea bottom.
I chase it.
Yep. What do you think? Sleight of hand?
Oh. Yeah, it seems fair to me.
Unless you want to say athletics because you're swimming.
Athletics?
Yeah, for swimming, that sounds good.
Oh boy.
And could I inspire, use a bardic inspiration to...
So what's that die? What does that give?
So 1d, hang on. Let's have a look.
At 5th, it should be a D8.
I think it's a D, yeah. Yeah, it's a D8.
Okay.
So you've got that if you need it.
I'm gonna go for it. Oh no. A D8,
so now,
please?
Oh, nice.
Come on.
That was a good 8.
Like Ernie's like strumming her lute and doing her like this way, that way, like trying to show what to do rather than anything else by the window. Like
I really want to
banging on
argue
the
one of these
cross.
days.
Come on.
Just like for a future plot development, I really want to argue Ernie making mean whispers at people until they do what Ernie wants. But okay. Yeah. Like mom intimidation to all of the friends.
Oh, she'll use that at some point.
Okay, so Gaston, you're swimming, and the dragon shard is right there, and you've got it in your hand, and you're over the edge of the boat, and you can feel your air hose is like at its maximum, but you are holding that dragon shard.
Oh, what to do?
That's a good question, because the Shargon have realized you have not moved this boat, and you have this dragon shard now, and your arrow is gone,
Oh, no.
and this feels like a breach of trust to them.
Oh, well, I see. So,
Do they look
This-
angry? These things starting to look angry.
this will probably be
They have mouths that look like this. I feel like they always look
Okay.
angry, but yes, they look angry.
new.
I think
I-
Ernie's. No, you go.
I make the motion like new. This is a misunderstanding.
Why don't you go ahead and roll a performance check?
Oh, ooh,
I'm going to impose disadvantage because I have 8 disadvantages, and I feel like I want to use one right now.
brutal.
I know, but there's 8 of them. I got to use them someday.
What kind of monster?
I mean, precisely this guy, because look at that. That would have been really good. I feel bad, but only a little bit. So it did not go as well as it could have. There is a purposeful barrier to this understanding, which is being mad about people not moving their boats when they said they're going to move it. I mean, you're basically blocking where she wants to go. You know, you've got your boat. Anyways, we get the idea. So with all that going on, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Boy,
So
oh
Ernie's
boy.
like, get the rope.
God.
Oh god, initiative. No. Wait.
Okay, I've got this cool character tracker thing for D&D Beyond I'm going to try to use. Okay.
You had pie.
You had a pie.
That's pretty cool.
I love it.
Okay, and auto roll, and good. Okay, so Lance, we're up first with Gaston. What are you going to do?
What am I gonna do, guys? Okay, time to take a look at my actions and what I can do. Okay. I guess I want to try to placate them. So, does it look like I could put the crystal back in this machine to give it another go?
You
does
could.
it look like
You are
that's
going to have to
over?
swim all the way up over there, and then you're going to have to make some sort of Arcana check to make the thing work.
Oh boy. Oof. Things I'm not very good at. Okay. Oh boy. Do I want to betray them? Is the real question. Damn. Tough choices. I will try once again to just say, no, don't want to fight, don't want to do this. This was a misunderstanding, just give me another shot. So, I guess improvise?
Yeah, like a performance. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, I'll try performance again.
Okay.
this horrible stat that I have.
Yep. Okay, they didn't get it, and your gestures came across a little bit ruder than Ernie's earlier, so... But speaking of Ernie, let's go ahead and throw the camera over to Ernie, who is in the ship,
Oh my
cheering
God.
in the window.
I think she has that moment where she stops, like watching the gestures he's doing. Like, oh, that's not good, and she just vaults towards the rope and is gonna start reeling him in as fast as she can.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check.
Oh, yeah, she's not athletic. 11.
Okay, it's going. Maybe next round he'll be back.
Oh!
Okay. Oh, very bad. Brock comes up behind you, grabs the rope as well, looks over at Cinnamon, gives a mighty yank back at the rope like he's going to do something good, and hits his head right on the side of the bulkhead. Like, and he's holding his nose again and going like this because that did not go well for him.
And he's
it's
like,
Cinnamon's,
come on!
it's Cinnamon's turn now.
Oh gosh. Okay. She's gonna come over and help Ernie to start pulling on this rope.
Okay, so now you're pulling right next to Brock, and go ahead and make your athletics check.
All right, I'm also not good at this. Let's go. Yeah, sounds about right.
The rope is very like tough manila rope, so you're like grabbing it. It's just like really abrading your palms. It's not great. Okay, we are on Loren's turn.
I see them all failing at dragging Gaston back in. So I'm going to take one of my wands out of a bandolier. I'm going to shove it out toward Gaston, give it a turn like I'm turning a watch or something, and I'm going to cast haste on him.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's good stuff.
Okay.
Very good
So-
stuff.
You get an extra action that you can use to attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object.
Okay.
And you gain a +2 to your AC.
Nice. Okay.
I think this is a good timing for it because behind you, the Sahuagin priestess is getting kind of upset and her hands are going like this in the water. And this is a new symbol. And the reason this seems to be a new symbol is because there is a whirlpool that is being generated as she goes like this. And it is starting to gently drag back on Gaston and starting to become bigger and bigger. And
Is this a spell or a feature?
I think this is a feature. Let me check one more time. Do you have something? Are you going to counterspell it?
I was going to say counterspell if it is a spell. But if it is
Go ahead and
not,
counterspell it. Do a counterspell.
Yes, I'm going to counterspell it and use that my last 3rd level spell slot. I'm just like, nope, absolutely not. Just grab a different one from my bandolier and just throw it out and just disperse the magic as it's starting to take effect.
Okay, you do need to roll your roll. You do have to get an 11.
Alright.
Ooh, very good. And the whirlpool dissipates, just kind of like you see bubbles start to float up. And Gaston, you're no longer being pulled back. You are gently being pulled in. As we are reaching the top of the initiative at this point, the Sahuagin is now joined by the 2 shark riders who were out in the distance. And so there are 2 sharks with 2 Sahuagin like going like this, riding on their back fins. And they are all now right there with you. But it's your turn again.
Okay. Gaston's going to turn around, look at this priestess, and just mouth the words, "I'm sorry." Then turn around, movement 25 feet, first action, 25 more feet with a dash, third action, 25 more feet with a second dash to just...
You're in the boat.
Bye-bye. Leave me alone.
Yeah, you've just like pulled yourself along this rope faster than anybody else could, so the rope just pays out behind you, and you're in the boat. Hunk, turn, and the water starts sinking out like this. Let's move on to Ernie's turn. Ernie, there are 2 sharks going alongside the ship now.
I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it counts as intimidation or words of terror, because they can only half hear her because it's kind of gurgle, but she's just sort of gesturing really wild, like you turn around, like watching you, and trying to get really angry at the window as she's watching Gaston come back in. She's trying to towards the sharks, like make herself really big. She's gonna get a stool.
Go ahead and make an intimidation roll against the shark.
Oh god. Oh, this is not gonna go well. I don't think I'm intimidating. 15?
So
She's just like,
yeah, sharks don't blink in the first place, and they continue to not blink at any point here. But it is like floating alongside the ship. It does not seem to have had an effect. It's just fun though, right? I think we're having fun is the important thing.
she's just like angrily at the window, does nothing, but she feels like she's doing something to help.
That's
So,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair. Because we are now on... Nope, we're on Loren's turn, right? Are we on Loren first or Cinnamon first? Which one were we doing?
Cinnamon, I think, is next.
Okay. Let's do that.
And so Cinnamon is also inside the submarine and also completely ineffective against these sharks with her weapons. All right, she's gonna do the same thing that Ernie is doing and brandish her weapons right at the window and be like, and don't come back.
Do you also want to roll on this, or do you want to just say that it's like possibly lost in translation?
No, I'm gonna roll my intimidation check
Let's
just
do this,
in
let's do
case it's
this.
a nat 20.
Okay.
No, it's an 8.
I appreciate the enthusiasm for making the roll no matter what, though. That's good. And we're on Loren's turn. The back hatch is closed. The water's draining out of the back. Gaston's in there safely. What's Loren going to do? You're muted too. Yeah,
I knew that.
we all do that.
I was gonna say, can I open the hatch to like bring get him inside?
Yeah, sure. There's going to be more water in the floor of the ship, though, if you do that.
It hasn't finished draining out yet.
Right.
I can see him through, like, there's like a porthole in there.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to gesture at the dragon shard, and I'm gonna like gesture to like put it in a pocket or something to hide it. And then I'm gonna yell back to the rest of the crew, like, he dropped the dragon shard fell down to the bottom of the sea, but we got Gaston back.
Let's see. Do we feel like we need a check there? I mean, we gotta continue with this because we're getting close to our end.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, here's what I'm gonna say. We get away from the Sahuagin for right now. As far as you can tell, they can't follow you for too long, or they're more interested in what's behind you. So you continue on towards the surface. Lorilla is, of course, very upset about the loss of her dragon shard and her contraption. But as she points out to Loren, I could make another one. I mean, I know how to do it. All I have to do is find another Siberys shard. I've got very extensive notes. Everything will be fine.
Absolutely. I'm sure a captain of your skill has connections all across Kobe.
Not really, but I mean, I know somebody from House Cannith.
That's me.
Right. I could use some help with that.
Absolutely. I would be more than happy to help.
Okay. So the ship reaches shore. The crew of the Mola rejoin to their families. They're happy. The crew of the Grampus, everyone survives. There's like one last longing look between Cinnamon and Brock. But, I mean, what can they really say at this time?
Nothing. They have no words. They're teenagers.
Brock just goes to hammer something yet again.
I think Cinnamon leaves him a note with her address, but it's like in the woodland realm.
It's like, here's a map.
Yeah,
I live here.
This is where I live.
The treasure map.
Yeah.
And Cinnamon's the treasure.
And about the time you all get back to the dock, and Lorilla's been talking about the details, like, I could just, we'll get in touch like this. She's talking about how you all could get in touch. At the end of the dock, there is a set of large gold doors, just standing there with nothing holding them up.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
Ernie looks, she's sort of like giving the gnome who was doing the drawing like a little fist bump and like, follow your dreams. And sort of, it's like,
We should probably get going.
and very unsubtly like,
Yes. I need to take care of some things in port, but I will be back and we can hammer out the details very soon. Yes, Captain?
Sure. I mean, I'll be here at the ship.
Wonderful. Loren has no intentions of coming back
Well,
because he is not a House Cannith member. He has to
gonna
run
do?
or be caught in the lie.
Dustin.
yep. So what's Gaston going to do? Is Gaston going back through the doors?
I mean, yeah, he's the guy who still has the shard.
Mm-hmm.
He clasps arms with Thurston. one more time. It was a good voyage. It was a good voyage.
It was a good voyage. Thurston hands you his crossbow. He says, you got out there and you did more than I did. Maybe you could use that sometime.
Oh, you truly flatter me till the end, Thurston.
All right, well, get out of here before I cry or something.
Oh, we will see each other again.
All right.
But goodbye for now.
And he hits you on the shoulder.
You, just give him a last wave and follow these folks.
Yeah, so who's the first one to open the doors?
I only would knock again. She now thinks that's what she has to do.
And they swing open so slowly, and there's just black behind them. And you all file in. Do we have an Ernie moment there?
No, she was literally going to salute her friend and fall backwards with Chonka into the darkness.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. So he goes into the darkness. And the doors close. And just like as soon as the doors close, the fabricator is just behind you. And he's standing directly behind you. And he says,
Okay.
To Gaston, like over the top of his head, he says, do you have the shard?
All right, hold on. Personal space, first of all.
He's like reaching this long, bony hand down towards you like this.
Excuse me. Back up a little bit. Yes, I've got your accursed shard.
Give me the shard.
Yes.
And he's like, thank you. Like as a prompt.
He takes the shard. He says, you're welcome.
Reaches for loot, but slowly resists.
What about this?
He just grabs the shard and he's just like holding it like this, and the shard just starts floating towards this big ball of magic. He says, yes, about that. You're sure you don't want it done the quick way?
If the quick way is where I don't have a hand anymore, no.
If that's the case, then let's see. I did something bad to Scrat. I turned off the music instead of starting new music, so I apologize. That's me. Sorry, Scrat. Okay. So anyways, with that going on in the background, he says, if you're not interested in doing it the quick way, then I regret to tell you, I still need one more shard.
Oh.
Could have led with that.
That's false advertising. You said after one shard.
I did, didn't I? Here. And he points his hand out again, and the doors are back. Walk with me, and we will discuss what we need to discuss.
She just but goes.
Well,
Who's going through? Yep.
Work is never done, I guess.
What's in it for the rest of us?
What's in it for the rest of you?
Yes, I mean, obviously I'm very happy to help our friend here get rid of their connection to a cult, but I feel like the rest of us also deserve some kind of reward.
What would you like? What would incentivize you?
Well, I like what you did earlier. Could you make that permanent?
Yes, of course.
Good enough for me. He walks through.
After you.
Oh, boy.
So, in my head, this is a terribly mean thing to do, but I think Ernie and Cinnamon, having not gone through yet, and Gaston and Loren having gone through, the doors close. And the fabricator turns and looks at you all and says, now that they're out of the way, let's talk about what we really have to do.
You just wouldn't.
Where did they go?
That's our ending.
Is that what he said? That's our ending.
That's not what he's going to say, but that's what I'm going to say.
I love it. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Hans. Okay, let's go round. Everyone say where we can find you on the internet, and also what was your favorite part from today, and we will actually start with our DM, the very lovely Hans. Oh, hi.
Hello, I am Hans. I come here every week to be called Lovely. That's really the big thing that I look forward to throughout the week. Are we talking about the game or are we talking about ourselves? Which one are we doing right now?
Both.
Okay, right. So this weekend, I'm going to do a design talk on my channel on Saturday. I'm going to do the last episode of The Witcher Crimson and Ash over on Salty Sweet on Sunday. And then I'll be back here next Wednesday for more stuff like this with NPCs that nobody likes. My favorite part, gosh, I got to admit, I really like everybody's characters and all the interactions. I'm getting used to Ernie and I'm loving Ernie. Cinnamon just with the whole like pursuing Brock was great. Gaston backing a ship up into a bubble, very fond of. And Loren, I really wanted to do that whirlpool, but I really wanted you to do the counterspell even more. So there were a lot of things that I really liked. It was fun.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And then we're going to hop around and say hello to a lovely Faye. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. So I'm Faye. You can find me on Twitter at Captain Faye Guy. I also am here every Wednesday night playing Shards of Siberys, which is great fun. And I also have 2 D&D podcasts at How the Quest and at Misfits Guide to Adventuring on Twitter. My favorite part tonight, I think it's just got to be this image of poor Gaston on this rope hanging outside of this submarine as the submarine's trying to like run away and people are trying unsuccessfully to pull him back into the submarine. So thank you, Gaston, and thank you, of course, Loren, for actually doing things while Cinnamon is off kissing boys.
Oh my god. Wonderful. Thank you. Then we're going to hop down, and I'm just, because I love the name so much, Gaston. Where can we find you, and what was your favorite bit?
Oh, guys, I'm Lance again. You can find me on Twitter at LTALIG. My favorite bit actually was just the little teen romance. That whole thing just kind of tickled me. It was great. I loved it. Perfect. Yeah, it was very fun to be here on stream with the guy and play this game.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, J. Lawrence Kenny. Oh, hi.
Hello. J. Lawrence Kenny. You can find me at that same handle on Twitter, Facebook, any social medias. With the current state of affairs as they are, I'm not really doing a lot other than existing, but I'll hopefully get to that soon. YouTube, I have a lot of stuff on YouTube. Favorite moment, I think, was God, there was a lot. I really love Eberron as a setting in general, so getting to play in this setting was fun. The haste and counterspell moment was really great. It was nice to be able to throw those spells out and play with the wands that I had Loren crafting for so long, and also learning that he has claustrophobia. Apparently, that was an in the moment kind of thing. Just like, it would have been fine if it wasn't gnomish sized, but then
A gnomish sized submarine. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. I'm White Rabbit Pick. That's where you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram. I am the other one of the co-founders of the Scratticus Academy. You can also find me as a DM over on Tales from the Grim and also as a DM over on Gilding Light. Both of those on Friday as well. I think one of my favorite bits, there's so many because I say it every time, I adore all of Hans's NPCs. They give me life. Again, I love the image of Gaston stood on a boat where everything fails and is, oh no. Just the calm, like, oh no. We've obviously got the Cinnamon with the teen romance, with the ultimate awkwardness where we just know it's awful, but in the best way. And Loren being claustrophobic and just that dead stare out into the ocean, not seeing anything, just coping. And also something I didn't expect, probably the conversation between Ernie trying to explain to the other gnome it's not okay to draw people whilst they're asleep and they're unaware of it. Yeah. Otherwise, please check out all the links coming up now. That includes a Discord, We do have a chat room just for this game, so we'd love to hear what you think. Also, if you've missed out on anything, you can head over to YouTube, where all of our games are put into playlists so that you can catch up over there. If you'd like to get into this game or one of our other viewer games, please head over to Twitter and drop Scrat a DM. Also, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Maychan Press, who have now released their Dark Matter in hardback, which is D&D in space. It's full D&D 5e compatible. If you want to pick up your regular D&D campaign and woof it into space, you can do that. Also, the wonderful Deck of Many. Go check out their Kickstarter because they are acing it. We've got the tarot cards that are coming soon, which I'm so excited for, and the level 6 to 9 magic moving spell cards. They also created Humblewood, which is another one of our viewer games, which you can come and catch right here tomorrow. Also Hero Forge, with the 3D printed color minis. We are currently testing out their beta, and it is so good. I actually made Ernie today, and I'm a little bit obsessed with her. And last but certainly not least, also Dungeon Fog, for whether it's a campaign or a one-shot. It helps you make your map and all of the notes to go alongside it. And when you update one, the other one updates along with it. So we're back tomorrow, but otherwise, keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you later. Bye.